Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this Chelsea news show. Datro Fofana to Chelsea. Here we go, has been announced today. We'll be talking about him. Andrey Santos is another young prospect that's being linked to Chelsea Football Club as well, who we will be discussing on as well. We're also going to be talking about Edouard Mendy's contract. We're going to talk about a bit about Luis Enrique as well. And we're also going to talk a little bit more about another Brazilian wonder kid that's being linked to Chelsea as well, in the name of Victor Roque as well, or Roque. Can't pronounce these names properly, but you know, Victor. It's not Victor. It's Vitor Roque. Vitor Roque. And we're talking about him as well. Lots of young, talented Brazilians linked to Chelsea Football Club over the last couple of days. The January window is looming as well. Lots is going to happen. Are these players being brought in to be given the opportunity in the first team? Are we just building for the new era? What are the plans? What are the ideas? What is the thought process of having all of these young prospects signed at Chelsea Football Club? We are going to be talking about all of that in this show today, along with opening up them lines today, because this is the last show before I do go away for 10 days, which means no shows from me. I'll miss the Bournemouth game. Won't be able to do a reaction to that or a match preview to that, unfortunately. But I'll be back on the 3rd of Jan, which means straight in the beginning of the transfer window, transfer news shows. We'll have Pliers, we'll have Ben Jacobs, we'll have everyone joining us on that one as well. So lots to get in. And then we'll go back into the rhythm of doing match previews, match reactions, discussions, Chelsea topics. Chelsea need a big next part of the season as well. It's going to be a big. It's going to be a big season, second part of the season for Chelsea as well. So, guys, please make sure you smash the likes. Nearly over 70 of you guys here already. Big up to every single one of you guys that are tuned in at the moment as well. And let's get into everything Chelsea before I cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Before we move forward, though, please make sure we're smashing them likes. We are trying to aim to get 100 likes on both channels, if we can, by the end of the show. I can't literally stress more how important it is, and you know, to the shows and channels. And you guys are the big supporters that make these channels and shows here. It's important that we keep bringing up the likes, keep getting as many likes in as possible, and it will then share on YouTube. More people join the chat, and it grows. It grows both channels as well. Subscribe to GNA TV, please, as well. We're on our road to 10K. That's my personal channel, GNA TV. If you write that in on there, that is the name of it. So go and check that out as well and give it a subscribe. We are live on both at the moment as well. And also make sure you subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV as well. Lots of big things happening here as well. Lots of new prospects and stuff coming your way going into the next part of the season. So make sure that you're subscribing on there for us guys as well. Let's say hello to the chat. Big up to everyone. See if Chelsea OG says we're opening up the lines. We will be doing that, bro. So make sure you stay in and around for that. Ryan, big up to you. Mixter, nice to see you. Henrik, nice to see you. How are you? John, big up to you, brother. Big up to you, man. Good to see you here. Roseanne, as always, big up to you. Sean, nice to see you. Danielle's here as well. My brother likes football. Big up to your brother and you. Big up to both of you. Buzzing for Santos, Sean. Well, we're going to talk about Santos today. Chelsea fan page. Why Chelsea sacked Thomas Tuchel? Well, we're going to talk about that because obviously Luis Enrique links, even though it's only come from one source, we're just going to highlight that, get into that, discuss that, and then go through the topics and open up the lines for you guys. Henrik, nice to see you, brother. Nice to see you. Miss Nomadic in the chat as well. She says, click the like button as you get in. Please listen to her as well. She'll probably be joining the show a bit later today as well. CFC Jack, nice to see you. Big Ron, big up to you. Who else have we got? Eden Hazard, man. Big up to you. I'm early for once. Big up to you, man. Nice to see you in the chat. CFC Pezlord, big up, man. How you been? Here comes the youth. Exciting, but got to be lots of youth, mate. Lots of youth coming in and around Chelsea. And that's really going to be the discussion today, the topic in and around not only the ones that we're looking to bring in, but also the ones that we currently have at the moment. And what are Chelsea going to, what are the plans? What do we think the plans are for Chelsea moving forward? You know, we're going to talk about it. We spoke a bit about it with Ben Jacobs on the last show on Tuesday, which was a very good show. If you missed that, go and check it out. Lots of insight into the project, the infrastructure, the idea of what we want to do moving forward as well. Breadstick says, do you think he has the potentials to, talking about Datro Fofana, we'll talk about him in a bit. Devin, big up to you, bro. Nice to see you as always. Matty K's in the house. Nice to see Matty K as well. Joseph, HR14, Ashraf, man. Big up to Ashraf as well. Mate, you are all here. All the usual lot. You know, something I would say is over 80 of you here already. A couple minutes in. Big up to Catman as well. Catman's in the house as well. Big up to you guys. But yeah, the usual people always here in the chat getting the show up and running as always. Big up to you guys. But let's get into it because there is a lot to talk about, and I want to obviously get your thoughts and opinions in the chat as well. I know what your feelings are on certain topics that we're going to go through today. And I want to start on around before we go to Datro Fofana. I want to talk specifically about this young lad, Andrey Santos to Chelsea. So, from what we've been told via Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea are now closing in on Andrey Santos deal. The Brazilian midfielder, born in 2004, is expected to join the club from Vasco da Gama. Here we go soon. Personal terms are also agreed. Deal at final stages. Vasco will receive 70% of the fee, as called by Pedro Pedrosa, who obviously broke the news originally on Twitter as well. So big up to him. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't know much about this young lad. You know, I've watched a couple of clips of him again, and he gives me the sort of Casadei vibes. Very good on the ball technically. Defensively, very good as well. Shoots outside the box. Takes shots outside the box, which is something we suffer from in the midfield, you know. And again, what does it mean for signing such a young player like him? What are the plans? What are the ideas moving forward for such a young player? Well, the idea for it is that he's going to be a part of the new era, whether or not he gets the opportunity to play in the first team. I think a lot of reasons why these young players are probably nodding their heads to Chelsea and saying yes. Maybe the incentives and contracts that Todd Bowley's given them, the idea of the fact that they will be given an opportunity to get into this team at some point, you know, that's big. You know, that's big. And at the end of the day, it's then down to them to break into it. But ultimately, if these players do not hit the expectations at Chelsea, or just maybe not good enough at Chelsea, it gives us the opportunity to sell these guys on a market value basis. Now, I'm hoping that most of the prospects that we have signed, that we have brought over, are given opportunities, and they do find themselves whether it's in the first team, the main core 11, or even as like a squad player, but a good squad player. Like this is, you know, the idea of what they're trying to do in the long run. I don't knock them for it, you know. And as important as it is to always get the marquee signings, or buy this person or do that person. Sorry, guys. I've just got something going on. Just making sure it ain't me. Basically, I had a flood over the weekend. It completely wiped my house out. And every time I hear noises downstairs, because I'm on my own, I panic. I think there's water or something going on downstairs. So if you hear me go quiet, it's because I'm like, Jesus, there's something going on downstairs. No, I don't think it is. Sorry. Cut off 2 seconds, but it just prangs me out. I get a bit prangy when it happens. Big up to Zero in the house. He says Santos is done. We are building for the future, is what Obey is saying. Galib, nice to see you. CFC Jack, as always, big up to you as well. I talked to a Brazilian fan on Twitter who said Santos is a top 3 talent in Brazil alongside Endrick and Roque. That is true. That is true. I've seen comments on that as well. And on top of that, obviously, I wanted to kind of like share the stuff that I found or from what people were saying. Some people that may have watched him, some people that may be fans of the team. And ultimately, there was some stuff like this, obviously, that came up, basically saying that the Brazilian central midfield is a Brazilian central midfielder, no significant weaknesses, similar style to Jude Bellingham and Romeo Lavia, very good technically, physically, and defensively, often pops up with a goal, considers top 3 talent in alongside Emric and Vitor Roque. I've got to say that right. I keep saying Vitor Roque. That's it. So yeah, interesting stuff. And on top of that, what makes it a lot more sweet from what we're reading from the Times Sport as well, from like Luton Times, is that apparently Andrey Santos at the age of 18 also attracted other interests. The likes of Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle were all interested in this young guy, but he ultimately chose Chelsea as the team to sign for. And it's very interesting to see the track that these young prospects, obviously we're talking about supposedly one of the best young talents in Brazil at the moment, picking Chelsea over some other big names. And that goes back to what I'm saying. Maybe it's incentives on contracts. Maybe it's the idea of game time. Maybe it's the idea of how they're going to fit in moving forward. These guys want to play in the Premier League. Of course they do. I know a lot of Brazilian players look at Barcelona and Real Madrid being the place to be in the future and playing at these big clubs and in that league as well. But if you've got an opportunity at such a young age, like some of these players are being given, even if they're young top prospects, to go to the Premier League, the best league in the world, whether or not you start, which you probably don't anyway, and you go and play in the reserves and you build up your experience, your understanding, playing in the quickest league, get your opportunities maybe in the first team in some cup games. If you're a young player, that is hugely attractive, especially on top of Bowley's in putting incentives in it to say, well, if you do force yourself into the team or you do manage to break into the team, you'll get X amount of bonuses here, X amount of bonuses there. I do think he's doing that with a lot of these guys, and why a lot of these guys are signing with Chelsea, barring Endrick, who we know kind of knew was going to Real Madrid, is because of the way that we're structuring the contracts to these players. So big up to Chelsea fan page. Mbappe is a Lukaku 2.0. Not only for David Dutchman, we can only say, here we go. Yeah, I know. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Does this mean we no longer want Latvia? No, because ultimately, I don't think this is these players that we're signing are players that just walk straight into the team. It is a project. It ultimately is a project, but these are players that are not for the now. Some of these players are definitely for the future, the new era, the new idea of what we want to do moving forward. It's not always about the now. And I have no problem with Todd Bowley and that looking at players for the new future. But when you look at what we have at the moment and where we're at as a football club, you know that we kind of need to improve the now. Still. Yeah, we need to see more of the now. So it's one of them things of like, yes, this is good. And obviously, ultimately, it's the structuring and the idea of bringing in so many top young prospects is a good thing. But the January window's still got to be a busy one for Chelsea. They've got to look at the striker options, they've got the midfield options, and there's a lot of other things that they need to do in and around that. Yeah, it's really people saying he's taken away Barcelona, City, Liverpool, Newcastle, hugely promising talent. I can't show you these clips because I'll get done on them. But who is he and what is he about? And I don't like using transfer market too much on young players because they're still very young, and it's very hard to just sit there and determine how good a player is from stats, especially a midfielder. But playing in the Serie A B, obviously, in Brazil, he's played 33 games with 8 goals, no assists. That was his 21-22 season. However, he has the versatility options of playing in a DM role, a central midfield role, and attacking midfield role. And watching the comps of Andrey Santos, the one thing that I noticed straight away is, again, being able to be versatile, being able to do a bit of everything. A little bit like what Casadei brings, where he can sort of sit, he can shoot outside the box to score goals. He can run in from deep like an 8 into the box and contribute goals. I saw a lot of that in this boy. And it seems to be a rift at Chelsea when they're looking at midfielders. There's a certain sort of type of midfielder that we're looking to bring in at this football club in what they bring. And when you look at Andrey Santos and someone like Casadei, and I use that as an example, and even Carney to an example as well. Carnes, who Graham Potter's already confirmed he's very impressed with at the moment. They all have the ability to do a bit of everything, which tells me that if our midfield structure moving forward is to have midfielders that can adapt, midfielders that can maybe do a bit of everything, not just having an out-and-out DM or an out-and-out 8, for an example, someone that can actually just play more of an attacking role, not the specifically defensive role. Have a bit of both, and that's the key. That's the key with a lot of these young players that we're looking at to sort of bring in as well. Apparently, he's a lot like Gomes, is what Blue Brother is saying over there. The Santos is already better than most of our midfielders. The Brazilians are known for shining even when they are youngsters. Yep, that's true, Raros. I agree with the last bit. Rodrigo Rogers thinks Casadei is shit. I don't know why he thinks that. From what I've seen of him at reserves, he's played some very decent games. Know what you're saying there, Rodrigo, mate? What are you saying? But look, that's one of the prospects that we're going to talk about today. And like I said, we are going to open up the lines very shortly once we've gone through the bits that we've got here. Get you guys involved. I want to, have an open topic with you guys as my sort of last show for the next couple of days, and get your thoughts. Sign of Malo Gusto. We need another right back because James keeps getting injured and Gusto is a young player. Again, priorities. What are Chelsea going to look at? Are they going to prioritise the right back? Are they going to prioritise midfield? We don't know yet. We generally do not know yet. Another one that we're being linked to as well, before we go to Datro Fofana, who is the main of topic today, is this young lad. Chelsea are very keen on 17-year-old Brazilian forward Vitor Roque and hope to try and have more constructive talks in the coming days. And that was reported by RJP Journalism. I know the guy as well. He goes on to say on, I think it was on Simon Phillips's article. No, it was a Chelsea news article that he put out to say that Chelsea are pretty much close to signing Andrey Santos, but they're also monitoring Vitor Roque as well. Roque is a 17-year-old currently turning out for a Brazilian side, Atletico Paranaense, but he is catching the eye of many of the big clubs in Europe and will soon be making his big move. It's certainly another interesting one to keep an eye on. Do you remember when Ben Jacobs was on the show on Tuesday and he mentioned about how Chelsea just sort of throwing themselves in to try and attract a lot of these young players? So if they can see top teams are after a certain prospect, Chelsea seem to just throw themselves into it. Interesting. We'll go back to that in a second. Thank you, Matty, for sending me that. I'll go back to Andrey Santos in a second. Well, it seems to feel like we're doing the same thing here as well. We're looking at these, again, a young Brazilian, one of the top 3 young Brazilians we're being told across Brazil at the moment, along with Endrick, along with Andrey Santos, and now this young guy as well. Again, don't know much about him. Haven't watched anything of him to really talk about him too much. But we're being told to keep an eye out on him. Now, in terms of his stats and what he possesses, he's played 29 games, 5 goals, one assist. Again, it's very hard to look at the numbers. I mean, if you look at his numbers last season, 51 games, 14 goals, 5 assists. He got into double digits over there. Scored a spread of goals across, cup competitions, league competitions, etc. But again, still very raw, still very young. They obviously see something in him for the future. Again, this is one that comes in if we do decide to look at Vitor Roque. He will go in the reserves. He will have to work his way up. He's not for the now. But when you think about the way that Roman Abramovich built the loanee system and how he operated and was moving in that way, where we had so many players out on loan. One season we had like 30, 40 players on loan out, to where Bowley's trying to go. And this is the thing, we're still, as Chelsea fans, trying to learn where we're going. What is the idea? What is Bowley's project? What is Graham Potter's ideas along with this as well? When you can look in the short term of what we've seen at the moment, it seems like we're very hungry for the young scouted top prospects across Europe that people know. There's probably the scout teams know from big clubs that are probably watching. And at the moment, ultimately, we're winning on quite a lot of them. And these are players with big ceilings. And there's a lot of players at Chelsea Football Club that have left Chelsea with big ceilings. Not at the age they were when they came, but have left and gone on and become the players that they are today. Maybe we want to learn from that. Maybe that's something where when we've looked back through the Roman era and we've looked at the players that we've brought in and the players that have left and some that have been successful. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot that haven't been successful. There's a lot of players that have just not worked at Chelsea or never work at Chelsea, have not even gone on with their careers and become successful. But, maybe the idea is to try and catch that talent, that young raw talent early. I'm not saying like Kylian Mbappe-esque at his age, because that's just absolutely ridiculous in terms of how he is. But if we can find something, someone or a couple of them that are close to being, I'll give you an example. Enzo Fernandez is 21 years old, right? Look how good he is how good he was in the World Cup. Look how good he was in the World Cup, how comfortable he was on the ball. You would have thought he was a 29-year-old player, like the maturity in his game, the understanding of what he was doing, that and the other. You wouldn't have noticed his age. Do you get what I mean? And this is the thing for me. it's with these young players, it's about not know like when they play for your team and they come in, whether it's off the bench or cup games, whatever, it's the maturity, it's the understanding, it's how quick they pick up things, it's how quick like they're effective as well. How quickly can they be effective in the system that we're playing and what we're doing? And that is how they grasp their chance. That's going to be the test for all of these youngsters that come over to Chelsea, And that's going to be the interesting part. Matty sent me over something on Andrey Santos, which came out from Fabrizio Romano as well, which goes on to say that Chelsea will pay around 20 million. 20 million. Oh, Jesus. Let me shut my DMs in. Chelsea will pay around 20 million euros for Andrey Santos. They have convinced Santos on the project, full agreement on terms with the club and player. There you go. I mean, it says it right there for you, doesn't it? Look, they've convinced Santos on the project. Whatever the project is, along with the contract, along with the length, along with the bonuses, along with the incentives, is attracting these guys, and they're taking their chances here. And they're probably going, do you know what? We're going to come in, we're going to show what we can do. And 20 million euros is a lot of money, guys. We haven't spoke about how much Chelsea is spending on young players of recent, but it is adding up. It is accumulating. 20 million here, 20 million on Carney. Casadei, can't even remember how much Casadei was, like the build-up, the build-up of how much you're actually spending, even though it's not bundles of money, it's still quite a lot of money for a young player. We struggle. We could sell some of our first team players for that much, and we'd still struggle to sell them. How embarrassing is that? We would struggle to sell some of our players for 20 million, and we're buying these youngsters for 20 million euros. Oh, Jesus. Madness. Over 175 of you guys here. Make sure we're smashing them likes, though, guys. Like I said to you, please, let's help try and get this up to 100 likes, both on GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV as well, please. That would be hugely appreciated. We are going to open up the lines very soon as well. Big up to Galib as well. Big up to you, bro. Remember, Oscar, Kennedy, all of them came from under 20s Brazilian League too, so people be patient, don't overhype. Here you have Galib, and a good point to make. Oscar was a baller when he came. I remember his first game against Juventus when he cut inside and hit it with his right foot, top corner, top bins, and everyone went mad. Thought it was a new Kaka. Do you remember? Everyone called Oscar the new Kaka. The new Kaka. Listen, these Brazilian boys are talented. Let's not get it twisted. Further was like 20 million back to Leipzig. It's what I'm saying. We're buying players for 20 million, but some of the players in our squad at the moment, we couldn't even sell them for 20 mil. What is going on here? AC Milan were offering Ziyech, I mean, like 15 mil. That's what I'm saying. It's embarrassing. Amari was 3, Carney was 15, Santos is 15, Slanoni was 10, Fofana is 10. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad business, Blues brother. Don't get me wrong, but still, we would struggle to sell some of our players. Do you know what I mean for that? But yeah, anyway, we move. Let's move on from Andrey Santos and Victor. And let's go on to the main topic today, which is Datro Fofana to Chelsea. Here we go. The man himself, the Ivory Coast player, wanted to play for Chelsea, which we've seen on a clip on Twitter of him talking about Chelsea being his dream move, has been confirmed as a Chelsea player. Datro Fofana to Chelsea, done deal. And here we go. There's a full agreement between all parties, deal sealed. Been told medical tests will take place in London on his birthday. Born in 2002, Ivorian striker. Chelsea for a mould for 12 million euros. Yeah, it'll be about 10 million in sterling, roughly. What a player, what to expect from Datro Fofana? Well, this is the interesting bit because CFC Central on Twitter, if you haven't followed him, go and check him out. There's actually put out a little bit of a scouting breakdown of the player, what the player offers, his abilities, if you're not sure, etc. And we're going to talk about them. So on this, he analyzes the playing style, the physical, technical, tactical attributes, the current ability, plus a potential and the weaknesses. As always, comments, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you go and give him a follow as well. Follows me. Didn't even know he follows me. Big up to CFC Central. Big up to you. So the first part of what he says about Datro Fofana is one of the most sought-after talents in all of Africa. During his time at AFAD, he had offers from France and Belgium, but turned down 5 times the wage for a move to Norway's Molde, an avid fan of former Molde central forward Erling Haaland. We know Erling Haaland came from Molde. Fofana made his debut for the Ivory Coast at the age of 16, so he's already made his appearance for the Ivory Coast. Now, some people are labelling him as the new Didier Drogba, this, that, and the other. I think it's very too early to confirm. We got to see his playing style, how he fits, what we're going to do with him, etc. As I said, that these vises by what's this about? Pictures of his overall. Illustrious Players offers a good picture of his overall skill set and tendencies. He's finished with 15 plus goals with 3 assists, created 8 big chances as Molde won the league. So he's very heavily involved as well. And when you look at this graph, I'm not going to sit here and bore you to death, but it kind of just breaks down the strengths of the player, right? At 19 years old. So it gives you an idea of his passing accuracy, his successful dribbles, his XG, even though I'm not a big fan of the XG stat, his shots as well, his touches in the box, XG assists as well, aerial duels and stuff like. So you can see physically he's not the greatest already in terms of aerial duels. He's not a great defender. Who's what striker is. His passing ability is not of the greatest, I'd probably say. His accuracy is good, but his passes, maybe that's how many passes he makes a game. So that might be that. So, yeah, there's a graph there of that. There's also another one here, which is based on the green being shooting, creating's yellow, and the reds being sort of possession as well. So it gives you another idea of it himself. So like I said, I won't bore you to death for that. You can check that out yourself. At Molde, Fofana is used as one of 2 forwards in a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2 formation. I've got to pause out, otherwise I'll get copyrighted. He is adapted at a playing both as the left forward or a right forward, can finish with either foot, prefers right, and is best utilized as a multi-factored outlet to initiate plus execute transitions. He's also featured as a centre forward in a 4-2-3-1. So, is he a second striker? He's not. He's not really. He can play in a 4-2-3-1 system and has done, but in terms of the way he has played and how successful he's been, it's better with him being next to someone in a 2 up front, and maybe the one that's deeper, the one that picks the ball up and uses his speed, drives forward. I've seen clips of him as well, creating space. That we kind of need in the team. I've really said this. It's something that we've needed at Chelsea for a while. So that would make, that makes a lot of sense in why we'd look at him. And then he goes on to say his strengths. So the agility. One of Fofana's key strengths is his ability to adjust his body orientation plus feet very quickly. He often uses body feints or drops a shoulder and uses that second of deception to go past his marker and makes him a nuisance. Do you know what? There's nothing on it, so we could probably watch this actually. We should be all right. Let me just mute it though. There we go. You see what I mean? That's a great finish, really and truly. Don't get me wrong. Strength, speed. Another good example here. Oh, there is. There's a logo there. I didn't see it. Right. Going on to the next one. This shapes his dribbling. He's good in tight spaces with the ball, but prefers using strengths, quiet bursts, and balance to help him blitz away from players. He does this very often. 7.9% of dribbles per 90, often moving to the flanks from central zone. So a player, and someone compared him to and he's not Eden Hazard, but in terms of this system that he plays, the style of the way he plays, yes, he can score goals. Yes, he can play as a striker, but he's better being sort of an inverted wing. Say it's more of an inverted forward, someone that comes off the left, drives into the pockets of spaces with his speed, and then initiates his finishing or creates for others and whatever else. So, being able to use that ability to dribble and have the burst of speed at the same time are 2 things that are very dangerous. We see it with Mbappe. I'm not saying he's Mbappe quickness here right now, so let's just take that out of here. But, being able to dribble quick and have the burst of speed at the same time makes you a dangerous player. I'd like to show you these clips, but I can't because there's a logo at the bottom, and I don't want to get copyrighted. Actually, to Wisecat, he manages to keep possession 72.3% of the times when dribbles into the final third. 1 in 2 shots he takes post a dribble is on target. This also ties in his ability to create separation, crafting time, and space for himself to shoot. So he has the ability to make things happen for himself, is what that means, basically. Season's greeting. Big up to you, Super Tommy Tuchel. Nice to see you, Cuzzy. Nice to see you in the house as well. Wilfred Boney, someone saying, is this Wilfred Boney? Yeah, but Wilfred Boney was more physical, he was more of a physical striker, someone that can hold the ball up, scruffle with people, push them around a bit. You know what I mean? Like that's the sort of player he was. Guys, I know we haven't got enough likes. Please, can we just make sure we're smashing the likes? Let's get this over 100. We are going to open up the lines as well, give you guys the opportunity to have your say and get involved as well. We go on from there, and we have this balance plus core strength. Another key plus to his ability is to endure contact, even when traveling at speed. At 5'11 and 82 kilos, he has the robust physique and this allows him to stay on feet or regain his footing quickly when staggering. So again, he's a type of player that if you hustle and bustle him and give him a push, he will have it with you. He's a bit physical, low center of gravity. That's a good thing again. Ultimately, he's very young and he has a lot of abilities that suit the Premier League. And why Chelsea have maybe looked to bring him in for 10 million, which is a bargain in a way, is the attributes that he has, the strengths that he has. And we're going to get to his weaknesses in a bit, obviously. But in terms of the strengths of what I've read at the moment, these are all things that you need to have in the Premier League to be successful. It goes on to say this also has best seen in his hold-up play at Mould. His teammates often try to find him with long balls. This demands that he controls long passes, often with back to goal or under pressure. You can see he manages it well. First touch is good. So again, balance, good first touch. Likes the ball to be played long to him so that he can hold the ball up, bring it in, and then obviously move from there. So again, the ability to be able to hoof the ball, even though Chelsea don't do that enough, and play it into him is an option. At 5'11", he's not exactly small. He's the same height as me. Pace, acceleration. These qualities make him effective at exploiting space. He attacks it efficiently, making off the ball runs into underloaded spaces and chasing long balls over the top to pressure defenders, making him dangerous when playing off the shoulder. So off the shoulder, making runs of his speed. We already know he has the ability to dribble. He also looks for space all the time. He always exploits space. Space is his thing because he has the speed. He feels confident they can beat anyone in a race. And ultimately, any defender, it doesn't matter who it is, the one thing that they hate playing against the most is someone that can run, someone that's got speed, someone that's got strength and speed and can hold you off the ball, So then we're going to go on to his weaknesses because at the end of the day, he's still very young. He's going to have weaknesses, right? And it's good to know about them so we can watch them. Movement. An aspect he can improve significantly on is his movement, especially inside the box. He relies on two in particular, a between the centre-backs off the shoulder on the last line, usually when one centre-back steps up into outruns to receive wide. So his understanding of what's going on around him maybe isn't the greatest. And then once he's made that pass, it's his own movements to from that. These movements have their benefit. A run between centre-backs allows him central access, and his pace factors in Neil's good first one-on-ones into outs. Runs allows him to receive in space on the wing, leaving the central space vacant for the time. However, most of the space he finds is more out of the circumstances than his own creation. He can appear static at times and also run mostly in straight lines, makes him easy to keep an eye on. He seldom makes micro movements in the box to shake off markers. So he's very straight. Timo Werner-esque. Can I use that? Like in his speed, in like running in behind and making space for himself. So maybe his understanding of spinning his run and making a run another way, for an example, rather than going straight, taking it to the right or going left or whatever, making himself unpredictable. Maybe it's not something that he does well enough, so that's something that we will watch out on. Something he can improve on, guys. He's not coming in as a complete talent. Do you know what I mean? That's not what it's about. So we're going to have to give him time. We're going to have to give him time. And these are good things to know, that his movement, something he needs to work on. Obviously, his aerial prowess is not great as well. We saw it from the stats as well. It says he tends to avoid challenging in the air. In aerial duels, outside the box, it seems like a deliberate ploy to allow him to adjust and chase the second ball. But inside the box, he offers a minimal lead, making him ineffective. So what are the one things that Chelsea like to do a lot? Whip the ball in. Reece James, Ben Chilwell, whoever, get the ball in the box. He don't like jumping. He don't really like, finding himself in a position to put the ball in the back of the net with his head. He's someone that likes predicting it after. So he'll always try and work out where the ball's going to go after the cross has gone in rather than go for the ball. If that makes sense. That's a bit weird, but that's his style of play. Ultimately, he needs to improve his area. If to be a striker, he has to be better and he's not small. He's 5'11". He can. I'm sure he can leap if he wants to. So why he doesn't do that enough, I don't know. But ultimately, something he needs to work on. And in the Premier League, he's going to have to be physical in the air. If we're going to knock balls up to him, he can't just lean back and just keep holding the ball up. He's going to have to sometimes flick it on or jump up. Do you know what I mean? So these are things that he's going to have to improve on. It is a pity since he generates good power and direction on his headers. His athleticism in other aspects suggests he should be doing more to contest in the air, improving his aggression and offering maximal leap should benefit him in the long run. So he has the ability to do it. He's just not doing it, or he's just not aware. Maybe that's something that the training camp need to work on individually with him. And this is what I'm saying. He's a baby anyway. These are things he can just become a master of in himself. He has the ability to do it. He's strong. He can jump. His movement's very good in straight lines. He can dribble. He loves space. He just needs to be that, say, Didier Drogba in the air, because no one's Didier Drogba to me. But, he needs to work on that. Okay, so awareness. Seldom scans without ball. So often it isn't well turned to make ideal decisions. Last season, 60% of the time, he made a progressive run. He lost the ball and then thinks on the ball instead of assessing options, perceiving multiple instances from a game. So he makes progressive runs. He loses the ball and thinks on the ball instead of assessing it. Oh, okay. So makes good runs, gets the ball, but then doesn't think about the option of maybe making the better pass of other players that are making better runs off him. It takes a little bit too long to think about what he's doing once he's got the ball. A little bit like Timo Werner. Are you Timo Werner in disguise? Are you Timo Werner in disguise? I'm joking. I'm playing, guys. Over 200 of you guys here. Big up to you, man. Declares in the house as well. Lines are going to be open in the next 10, 15 minutes for an hour, just over an hour for you guys to get involved, have your say as well on the topics that we're talking on. But get them likes up. Let's get these likes up, guys. Counter pressing was benched early in the time at Molde as he was deemed inadequate at grasping pressing, but he has improved. Had 2.0 counter pressing recoveries per 90. Needs to up the quality and quantity of his out of position defensive work. So sounds like he's a little bit lazy. Doesn't like pressing from the top. Something that Potter will demand in a Chelsea team is press, is energy, is work hard. Something that he's not doing much at Molde. He's done better. He's progressive more, but we need to see more of it, is what they're saying. Creating. So Fofana could also develop into a useful wide career as a centre forward. Drifted wide, his gravity draws multiple players, opening up space centrally. 8 big chances created is a good start and can improve on. So again, someone like I said is probably better as a centre forward, but someone that comes off the left and drives in. A bit like Aubameyang when he was at Arsenal. He plays off the wing and he finds himself in the middle with his ability of dribbling and speed. That's what he reminds me of. Mbappe done it in the World Cup, playing off the left, but then driving in from the left. The ability to just drive straight and dribble because he has the ability to dribble. How to use him. Fofana is at his most devastating when facing the goal or when receiving in between the lines and allowing him to turn and run at defenders. His ball carrying speed and strength makes him a tough opponent to handle one-on-one. So we already know what the strengths are already. Get the ball into his feet, in space, on quick transitions, and let him just run. Let him run, dribble, things we need in this squad anyway, things that we haven't got at Chelsea. Someone that can pick the ball up and create space by running, speed. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets in the squad. It's imperative to allow him drift as he chooses, whether as a lone forward or as a part of a two centre forwards. Other forwards should use the space he vacates to run into. The team as a whole should look to quickly play him into spaces. That's what I just said, or wide. So someone with movement that can run off him and create other spaces, or run into the spaces that he's created. So Kai Havertz, for example, would benefit with this guy because he would be able to run. This guy will attract players to him, playing next to him as a two, and Havertz will have the space to run into, which is where Havertz is good at anyway, running into pockets of spaces, movement. Aubameyang as well might benefit from that. All 23 of his open play goals have come from inside the 18-yard box. However, a majority of them come when he's attacks the box in transition. His lack of aerial presence, we already know, could make him sudden transition to a Premier League very difficult. That's why I said to you, his aerial priority has to improve in the Premier League. That will be hard because you have to be physical. Lukaku is a good parallel. Oh, Jesus. Lukaku is a good parallel. Fofana is far better in tight spaces plus better technically, but Lukaku is far better finisher and leagues ahead as above threat. Yeah, but Lukaku's 30 and shit now. And Fofana's just, still finding out who he's going to be and what he can be and improving. So I'm not even going to use that. Overall, Fofana fits in the Carney, Cassidy, Hutchinson theme of deals. Physically plus technically, Fofana looks very promising, but needs experience plus game time in a more competitive league. A loan in a possession-heavy side featuring as a lone centre forward would be ideal for his growth. So ideally, we could bring him in and just loan him out, is what they're saying. He could come in and we could just pretty much set him off. In terms of stats of Fofana, 24 games, 15 goals, 5 assists, 17 goals, 6 assists in this season. Some good numbers, don't get me wrong, from Alday. Obviously won the league as well. So he's a talent. He is a talent. That is ultimately what he is, And it goes on to, all of these. All of these that Chelsea are looking to sign. And you've got to look at the list of what we've done since Todd Bowley stepped in. Carney, Slonania, Cassidy, Amari Hutchison, Zach Sturge, David Datro Fofana confirmed today. Andrey Santos is pretty much a here we go, nearly there. Mukoko, maybe. Zakarian, the guy that says he's going to come to Chelsea in January, which we'll find out in January, if he does. And the list goes on. Lots of top young talents across Europe, all different nationalities, all have different abilities. Some all have to improve. Obviously, and that comes with experience and time, and they will get that at Chelsea, and if they're in the reserves. Others will go out on loan. Some will stay, some will go. There is no way in hell all of these players are breaking into the team. I think they will be given incentives to try and break into the team, but ultimately, I think it will be down to them and what they do with their time at Chelsea and what Chelsea do with them on loans, because the loan is going to be important for the progression of the player, which means you're going to have to find the right club for them, because some of them may stay and play in the reserves. I can see that. Others will probably be loaned back out to improve, to play in teams maybe of the similar or style of the way Chelsea are doing things. So it's a good list. It's good to see the new era, the future, it continues. But we also need to talk about the now. The now being Christopher Nkunku. The now potentially being a Declan Rice. The now being a Gvardiol. Maybe a Leao. These are all important for the now. And we can't forget about the now, because the now is important on where we are at the moment. This is nice to see. I like all this. And I hope some of these get breaking earlier, sooner rather than 4 years down the line or 3 years down the line. But we need a lot now. And that's why this January window, we need to see some sort of improvement and some signings. And it will be, I think, 2, potentially 3 signings, in my opinion, in January, providing we can get the right deal in the market. I think we will. And they won't be marquee signings. There won't be a Leao. There won't be a Declan Rice. There will be players that we can get on the deal, maybe based on the back of the World Cup, who have had very good World Cups and are at some great values, like this, potentially, that come in, for a good price. Obviously, the value will increase because of the World Cup, but you can still get him cheap based on the length of contracts and what they've got left and whatever else. So, yeah, the future is bright, people. The future is bright. Now, we've got 2 more things before we go into opening the lines, and I want to quickly fly through them as well. Nearly 200 of you guys here as well. 2 more things. We spoke about the youth, we spoke about youngsters, but I want to talk about the now and where we are with current players. Edouard Mendy has snubbed Chelsea of a 6-year offer from which has been put forward to him. Apparently, he's not happy with his salary. Now, I don't really think he's got an argument at the moment. I was one of Mendy's biggest fans, and I still will stand by his side. I thought it was immense under Thomas Tuchel. Actually, I think he reached levels that Kepa's never even reached once at Chelsea. He's already shown that he can reach that level. I think the issue he has now is the new manager that has come in is very, very strong in having goalkeepers that can play out from the back. I think the contract that he's been given and the money that's being offered is of one where he may be taking more of a back seat, potentially. And a lot of it is because of himself, his own doing, not being able to, continue the consistency that he had prior or finding the form. Because he can't seem to find his form. And we're going back into this into December against Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest. And then we've got Man City and we've got Arsenal, I think, and others, all the way up to Fulham twice and Palace and whatever. And Kepa's not fit yet. He's going to be in the sticks. He has to take his chances. If he wants more money or he deems that he feels he should be offered more, he needs to show the fans, the owners, the manager that he's here for the long run, that he's here to be the number one. And he will need to improve on his feet. We know that he can make saves. I've seen it. But ultimately, just even that's been hard for Edouard Mendy of recent. And it's hard to say that because I thought that there was a good chance that he could kick on at Chelsea and solve our issues. But I keep saying it. The goalkeeping area of Chelsea Football Club at the moment is becoming a bit of a problem. We ain't really talking about it because we've got other issues like DMs and maybe now centre-backs because of Fofana. Forward line because none of them can tick and it doesn't work. So it gets to the point now where it's like we need to start looking. We need to, you need to take your chances in this next part because Kepa's not available. You don't want to accept a contract because you don't like the wage and they're giving you a 6-year offer. Fine. You think you deserve more. You are coming back into this Chelsea team. Now you need to prove it. Now you need to show us why you're number one and find that form again. And I'm talking about the Tuchel form. I'm talking about what we saw in the past. Mendy was carried by that defence, bro. Of course, but that's not true. I'm sorry, that's not true. It's not true. I don't agree with that. He wasn't carried. He was a very good in that period, Edouard Mendy. There is a number of games where if he wasn't in the sticks, we could have been 2, 3 behind. I think of Aston Villa at home under Thomas Tuchel, where we went in 1-0 up or 0-0. And it should have been 3-4-0. And it was because he was in the goal. I remember the Real Madrid game when we won the Champions Leagues. Brentford away, where we should have lost. And he made about 20 saves. And he was unbelievable. He was in great form. Let's not act like he wasn't important. He has been important. He has showed us what he can do. But it's taken too long to find it again. And you don't get time at Chelsea. As much as I have had his back in the past, you won't get time if you don't find it. And he needs to find it quickly. So at the end of the day, stall your contract. Stall it. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. It's fine. Football's coming around the corner. Show it on the pitch. And then go back to the board and say, there you go. That's why you need to pay me more. Whatever it is more. 10 grand, 15, 20. We don't even know what he wants. Go and show it on the pitch, Edouard Mendy. Kepa's still out. Steve says, Mendy's a top goalkeeper, but very bad in back pass. Don't give Mendy back pass. He always tumbles. Yeah. Improvements. He needs to improve. Maybe temporary dip in form, and he will be back in form soon. It can happen with any player. Remember De Gea, he had a bad patch. I agree, but it's taking a bit too long to find that form. You know, that's the thing for me. It's taking a little bit too long to find that form. Guys, over 215 of you here. 200 of you. Big up to every single one of you guys that are here. Make sure you smashing the likes though, guys, because I know we haven't got enough likes. And I'm going to open up the lines in about 5 minutes. I'm going to give you guys the time to come in, talk Chelsea. Anything you want. All the youngsters that we spoke about. Mendy. We're going to talk about Luis Enrique next quickly, and then we're going to open up the lines. But please hit the likes. Please hit the likes. What is Chelsea's playing out offering 6-year contract for it? It seems like Chelsea are offering everyone 6 and 7 year contracts. That's something that Bowley is doing. Big up to Hiking with Mine, man. Have Merry Christmas, man. I hope you're well. Even in the finals, we lost against Liverpool. He kept us in the game. So I know people just forget though. This is what happens with the fan base. We do this a lot. And it's not just, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just talking in general. We always think about the now. It's always about now. You know, when he was great, he was great. And when he was shit, he's crap, get rid of him. Like, we don't think about the overall. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just find it quite funny. I love him. He was unbelievable. So I get mad. I can get Madrid last season and Lee's errors out of my head. I can't get. Yeah, I agree. I was at the game. At Madrid at home when he fumbled twice, really, in that game. Wasn't good. It wasn't good. I don't think it's a purple patch. I think it's becoming a bit longer, but he's gonna get his chance, guys. He's gonna get his chance back in the team, and it's gonna be down to him to step up. You don't want to sign that contract, cool. But now Kepa's still injured. We've got games to play. We've got points we need to win. We were on the back of 4 losses, Chelsea. 4 losses. We need to see a response from him, and he needs to show the board why he needs to be paid more, along with the squad, all of them. Now, this real quickly before we open up the lines. Chelsea could be in the option for Luis Enrique next season. If the Blues continue to struggle under Graham Potter. This makes no sense to me. This comment, and you know what I'm like? Whatever comes up, we talk about it. And I'll tell you if I think it's bullshit or not. But in this instance, I think this is bullshit. Because it defeats the whole object of getting rid of the guy below. There. You don't bring in Graham Potter on the back of Thomas Tuchel, who had a couple of bad games at the beginning of the season, for then Potter to have the same problem with the same players and then get rid of him and then appoint Luis Enrique. That makes no sense. What was the point of getting rid of Thomas Tuchel in the fucking first place? You might as well left Thomas Tuchel in to the end of the season, give him the chance, like we said we were going to do, back him, give him the players he wants to do. And if it fucks up and it don't work, you bring in Graham Potter. You bring in Luis Enrique, who's now available. That makes sense. I'd get that, but I don't get this. So I'm going to call this as bullshit, this comment. I don't think Bowley and Egbali are looking at Luis Enrique and going, right, and had a word with him about it and said, right, look, if Potter don't do this, this, and this, we're going to get rid of him. And do you want the job? We'll pay you this. Listen, if they have, that is pretty, pretty raw. That is pretty deep. That's what I'm going to say. You pulled the guy out of Brighton, brought him over here. Probably said you're going to back him, do this, that, and the other, and then you're going to chuck him out. Nah, man. I'm telling you, I agree. This is not true. I can't take this rubbish. What's going on? Chelsea the way, last comment, ignorance and delusion. What's he saying? What are you saying, Chelsea the way? Not caring where we finish says a lot. Top 4 or burst for me. Don't care about the structure or process nonsense. Why? Why would you not care about that? Do you not understand where the club is at the moment? Does it not bother you? Look, anyway, we at the end of the day, all fans can think what they want and have thoughts on how they feel about things, and we all feel different. I'm not going to knock him for feeling like that. He's used to having success. He's used to having Chelsea in top 4. It is what it is. I'll be honest with him. My expectations are we should get top 4, and they stay as we should get top 4. I feel we should, even with the squad we have. I'll be honest with you. However, doesn't mean that I ignore the structure and the process nonsense that he said there. I don't ignore that, no, because there is. We've lost our old owner. We were in a sanction. We have a new owner. That in itself automatically, without people seeing it, puts you in to a new process, a new structure. That's normal. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to care about it because it is what it is. Do you want to suck him off, Ram? You actually want to suck Allison off? All you do is come in here and write Allison and disappear. Over 200 people here. Big up to you, man. Big up to you. Jose, how you doing, bro? Nice to see you. Right, I did say open up the lines. Come on in. Let's get people in. Let's open up the lines. The link's in the chat. Come and have your say. I'm calling this bluff anyway. This Luis Enrique bollocks is bollocks, mate. I'm calling it a bluff. I'm calling it a bluff. He's likely style. People were coming for him anyway. Big up to CFC Real fans. Stay together. Nice to see you. Links in the chat, guys. He's want to come in. He's want to have your say. Come and get involved. I'll answer some of your... Got any questions in the chat, guys? Get them in. Get them in while we're waiting for some people to come in. But like I said, topics-wise, you want to get involved? Talk about the youth that we're signing, the idea, what you think and feel about some of the players we're bringing in. You want to talk about Mendy's contract? Come in and have your say. You want to talk about this nonsense with Enrique? Come and have your say. Whatever it is that you want to come in and talk about with Chelsea, come in and have your say. Do you think we sack Potter without top four? No. I don't think we sack Potter without top four. I don't. I think the expectation will be and the target will be to get top four. Of course it will be. I don't think that any owner comes in and says, you don't get top four, it's fine. There's like no target. I think the target will be from Bowley and anyway, you got, get top four. However, if you don't get it, we won't chop your head off. I think that's what's kind of happened. Do you know what I mean? But splotter out. Matty, the link's in the chat, mate. You want to come in and have your say? I haven't seen you in a while. Come in and have your say. Put a link in the chat again. Sometimes it doesn't pull through as well. There we go. There is the link. Some people asked me to send it to them as well, so let's send a link. Some people. Who we got here? We got OG. He wants a link. Link. Any other questions in the chat? Let me know, people. Let me know. Let me know. Who's getting João Felix this winter? Not Chelsea, I hope. Not Chelsea. Do not want João Felix. He does not suit anything that we're doing. I know people like João Felix. It makes no sense, especially for how much you're going to sign him for. Bulls always have a short list of managers in case the current manager fails his objectives. Current Potter will be sacked if he doesn't deliver. It's football. No, Graham Potter will be sacked if he don't deliver. But then, what is delivering to them? What is the whole? What is the whole idea of delivering? Because delivering might be that this season he gets a free ticket, but the next season top four, we want a trophy. Then you know what I mean. So that's a different story. Andreas, mate, how you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you
Nice
doing?
to have you on, mate. It's good to have you on. First time, innit? First time, usually in the chat.
Yeah, first time. Today is quite like soft day in terms of work.
Yeah.
Christmas is coming, so we are chilling.
Nice, mate. Nice. Tell me, what's your thoughts on Chelsea? Anything you want to talk about overall?
Yeah, I just wanted to say. So for me, these signings are good, and for the future, because for me, like for example, if we take Bellingham, he spent 2-3 years, and already the price tag is just enormous. So if you buy 4-5 players like Santos and Fofana, and if only one strikes, it in the end it will be good.
Yeah, and it is one for the future. Don't get me wrong. What's your thoughts on about them now, though? Because obviously we do need players, don't we? And obviously January window's around the corner. What are you expecting from Chelsea in the January window?
Not too much. I would like a defensive midfielder and a backup for Rhys James. I would be fine with that. For example, Bannister, if he if he doesn't extend the contract with AC Milan. And yesterday I read the news that the the guy from the Real Sociedad, I can't pronounce his
Yeah,
name. Yeah,
yeah.
these would be two good options for me.
Do you think it'll be 2 signings, 3? Do
No,
you think?
no, like signing. No, two signings. I think first team
Okay.
signings. Yeah.
When it gets to the summer window, Andrea, what do you feel is like the priority for Chelsea, like in terms of signings? Like, what positions would you accommodate, and then what players would you look to buy in the summer if you were the owner?
I would say the whole midfield revamp.
Yeah,
It will be the majority.
fair enough. What about the forward line? You impressed with the forward line, or do you think we can improve that?
So for me, my perfect front three would be Leao and Kunku and Omari, as far as I saw from Omari. So I will give him a shot, like for example, Arsenal did for Saka a couple of years ago, and let's we are now seeing what he did.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Enzo Fernandez is a must. I mean, if we could get Enzo Fernandez, mate, that's the one thing I would agree with you on. But he's going to cost a lot of money. I think he's a baller. I think he'd be perfect for Chelsea as well. But Jem, I'm an international fan from Asia. As a match going fan, what would you feel if we moved out the bridge to a bigger stadium? I don't think that's going to happen. To be honest, I think they will. Because from what I understand, the plans are to knock back the hotel anyway. So I think the idea will be to, from what we're being told, to work on per stand basis. So they'll start on the west and then the east, and then they'll go Shed, and then they'll go Matthew or whatever. So they'll do one per year, and try and extend it that way so that we can keep it. However, our attendance might be a lot lower because we lose a stand. However, you can still go and watch Chelsea at the bridge is the idea. Maybe they can't do that, and maybe they'll be forced to go elsewhere. But at the moment, I think the idea is for them to try and stay and do it. To keep people at the bridge. Do you think disappointment in World Cup for players like Havertz will be a blessing in disguise? I don't know. We'll find out. We need a big next part of the season. That's the thing I would say. We really do need the next part of the season. What are you saying, Nomadic? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. So Chelsea are back nearly. How are you feeling about the next part of the season?
I actually missed them. I didn't think I'd miss them, but I actually missed them.
You missed them.
You don't?
What do you miss? What do you miss? What do you specifically miss?
Has it been bad? Yes. But what can you do without them also? You know?
It's a love-hate, yeah? It's a love-hate relationship, as people say, yeah?
It really is. It really is. I don't understand people who, okay, it's their opinion, but I really don't understand people who don't miss them. I miss the boys.
Who do you miss the most? Who's your favourite player?
Sterling. You know that.
Oh, Sterling. Yeah, I forgot about that one. The little chicken.
You know that. I really, he was cooking under TT. And I just hope, like, finally, now that Reese is back and everything, that he stops playing that wing back position because I don't like it for him.
Yeah, again, I think Potter's idea will be to go into the back four eventually, but can we do that now? That's the question mark, when you look at it. Have we got the crop of players to do it? I'm not too sure.
But I wanted to ask you, because I know we talk on the side, but
yeah,
like, honestly, like, I see a lot of people also complaining in socials, and they're like, why are we buying a lot of these young players? And I know you also have an issue, not an issue, but you're like iffy with it. But honestly, like, realistically, what did you guys really think was going to happen in the January transfer window? Like, did people really expect us to go get Enzo, Vardiol, blah, blah, blah?
no.
All these players that are rumored to be going for a minimum of about £80 million. Minimum.
No, because number one, it's going to be very hard to sign them type of marquee signings in the January window anyway, because they're still at their former clubs doing, doing whatever they're doing there at the same time. So I don't think marquee signings like a Declan Rice, a potential Enzo Fernandez, them type of players will be available. However, I do think that if there is a player that is low in the market in terms of value, that has had a very good World Cup, that is maybe looking for that one next big move, which will take them to a big club, is available, then I think there's a
Like
good opportunity
who?
that you could.
Hypothetically,
I
hypothetically.
know Amrabat, for example.
But
And
okay, I get what you're saying.
do you
But
get what I mean? So someone that we didn't know about, and then all of a sudden he looks really good at
his
the World Cup.
agent has already come out and said they prefer. I get what you're saying, and you can always like talk to a player or something. But his agent has already said they prefer a summer move.
That's fine, but what I'm saying to you is that type of model, that player, someone that we're not very aware of, that stood out, that played very well, maybe did not even make the team in the cup, but had a good World Cup overall. Like there were some good players in that World Cup, and I'm not even just talking from like the top, the top teams that we know. I'm talking about from the likes of Japan, onwards. There was some really good young players, quick, strong, like decent players, technical players, and it's What's Declared saying about Nomadic? Is what he's saying here. Why you sound like me the last time we had a discussion on stream? They got to Declared.
Ah, I remember. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But no, last topic, but last thing before everyone talks, I'm just saying, like, I don't understand how people are really quote unquote mad at the young players that we are
Everyone's mad.
buying, as if they really expected us to get our marquee signings in January. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
I don't think people are mad about us signing the youngsters, to be honest. I think what people are seeing is that these are youngsters for the future. This is not specifically for now. Some may be in the reserves and be given chances for now, like we've seen with Carney, who's apparently impressing Graham Potter in trainings, for example. Hutchinson hopefully may be given a chance, potentially. But you got to remember, we've got people like Ziyech and Pulisic who have just come back on the back of World Cups, that have had good World Cups as well. So it's like, mate, Ziyech wants to go, but you see there's maybe a player there. I don't think he's good enough for Chelsea still, in my opinion, but maybe Graham Potter will look at that and go, well, let's exercise it. Let's get him back in while he's in a bit of form. Like, I don't know. It's a bit of a hard one for us as Chelsea at the moment. So, to just keep buying January or to just look at what we have for now and wait to the summer. But I do think we need to strengthen in the midfield. And I do think we need to strengthen at the wing backs as well. So we'll see. But let's see what people are saying. W, how you been, mate? I ain't spoken to you in a while.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, Jim?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. How's things? What are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, watching the World Cup's good, man. Because not gonna lie, before we went to the World Cup, Chelsea it was bad, man. It was bad.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not expecting much from this season from Chelsea. So I'm pretty much writing the season off personally. I don't know what you think. I think top four's gone personally. I don't think unless the teams around us play bad, or worse than us, I don't think we can make top four.
We're already 8 points off, aren't we? We're 8 points off at the moment with a game in hand. So if we win the game in hand, we're 5 points off Tottenham. It's not doable, is it? We can do it with a bit of form.
Yeah, we can, but I'm just saying, I think the teams above us, I just think it's better than us right now. That's my point.
The only thing I would say is I feel that some of these teams ain't even had their blips yet, and I always feel that they especially the top teams, they always have a moment of blips throughout the part of the season. Unless you're a Man City who just go on and recklessly and just win things because they're consistent. But at Tottenham and Arsenal, I'm waiting for Arsenal's blip. I think they will blip at some point. Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool are below us at the moment. So what does it mean for them? You know what I mean? So I think it's still very early, mate. To be honest. Granted, we need points. We can't not say that we can't need points. We need points, mate. If we don't get the points, we're not closing the gap. So it's on the boys, man. They need to show us, isn't it? They need to show us. They've let us down.
For me, yeah, but I look at it like this. For me, I think first and second are already gone. I think Man City and Arsenal are comfortable in top four. So it leaves 2 spaces left. I think Liverpool will have a decent second half of the season. So I think they will get third. So realistically, with my thinking, I think it'll be Man U, Tottenham, and Chelsea going for fourth.
Our game in hand is against Liverpool as well, apparently. So that could be an important game.
But I swear it's away.
It's we've got a home game which got put back as well, which we're waiting for a day in. So I was meant to go to that, I had a ticket, but
and do you know we have to play every Big Six team away? I
know. But do you know what? The one thing I would say is that I actually prefer us playing away than home at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I just feel like we've struggled to play at home for a while. I always seem to think that when teams open up a bit and we have a bit of space and we can play, I think we just look we have more chance. We look a little bit better, in my opinion. But well, they come home. The issue I have when they come at home is they just play low block and they sit and they make it hard and we can't break them and we can't create chances and then we get hit on one chance or something. Like that's how it feels when we play at home. And I've been to enough home games to feel that it's just not. I don't know. It's just not there at the moment,
But
our
away record at some of like the big 6 grounds are like so bad, bro. That's the thing.
Well, no, we're not going to. It's Tottenham's is good.
Yeah, other than Tottenham, I think our record at most teams are very bad. We haven't won at United in a while. Same with Liverpool.
We've got City 3 times. We've got City twice on the bet before Dortmund. We've got them in the cup again, and we've got them in the league. So and they're away.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy.
So it's gonna be.
But our home form has the one that has been like dragging us down for a while. We've had a shitty home form for like I think the past 3-4 years, and that's what should like carry you throughout the season. That's why I think I don't know, for some weird reason we prefer, apart from like the big 6 teams, which is bad, it's like we prefer playing away games to home games, which doesn't make sense. There was a time that Stamford Bridge was a fortress, and now it's just like anyone can come and bop us out.
Apparently Liverpool, I agree with you, Nomadic. I do agree with what you're saying. Apparently Liverpool have put an 100 million bid in for Enzo Fernandez. I don't agree with that, but still. We have got some breaking news, though, for you guys from Fabrizio Romano, and it does relate to Chelsea as well. It goes on to say this. Chelsea have a verbal agreement in place to sign Brazilian talent Andrey Santos, confirmed final fee around 20 million euros. Personal terms agreed to. Chelsea and Vasco will now prepare documents. Born in 2004, Andrey will be part of Chelsea Talents project. Another one. Second in the day, Datro Fofana, and now we can say that Andrey Santos is a Chelsea player as well. Dinisham, how you doing?
Hey Jam, how are you, man?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I mean, how are you feeling about all of these young prospects that we're signing? That do you see what we're trying to do moving forward?
Yes, so I think with the World Cup, it makes me more patient in terms of now I feel like I don't put too much pressure on Potter. By watching the World Cup, I realized one thing only, is that the team like Croatia, Argentina, even Morocco, they did so good, was because of the midfield. And that's when I realized how crucial your midfield is. It doesn't matter your attack, the defense, all right, but the midfield. And that's what Chelsea was missing for the past 4 or 5 years. And those youngsters that's coming through, I think I'm very confident now because we have Potter, which is very good with youngsters. If we had someone like Mourinho or someone like a Conte who doesn't care about youngsters, then I would say it would be a failed project. But with Potter, I know I have a chance because I know that if you look at Brighton, they scout a lot of players. And those players becomes McAllister. Those players become Cucurella, Trossard. Look at McAllister in Argentina. I just want to say I want one player, McAllister. Many people are saying about Enzo Fernandez. But have you seen how good McAllister was in that Argentina team? I was shocked how good this guy is. And he plays for Brighton. So that tells me a lot about players from Brighton. And I think Bowley is doing a very good job. With Bowley now, fans have to be patient. Just give maybe Potter 1 more year. Even if you finish 5 or 6, it's okay. Yeah. Just give a bit of time, because if you want Potter to finish top 4, it's not going to happen, because I don't think the players that we have right now would trust in Potter, because those players, they want to win everything right now, and Potter's not going to do that. Potter is a manager who you have to give him time to build a project. Yeah. So for me, we need to get at least 2 players in January to have at least a little chance in Champions League. We need to bring at least 1 DM, like you said, maybe an Amrabat or someone that can cover Jorginho, and someone that can cover Reece James. Because I don't want Reece James to play all games and gets injured. I want Reece James to play games that are crucial, like Champions League game, and then Premier League, put someone else. Because I don't want Azpilicueta also as well. So we need at least 2 players for me in January.
Yeah, can I add to that point?
I wish you could see my face the way I was agreeing with you. I'm sorry I cut someone off. I just wanted to say that, thank you. I wish you could just see that. all I want for January, probably, I know we're not gonna get your Rice, your Enzos or something, but give me a midfielder that's competent enough, and give me a competent Reece James backup, and I'll be good until the summer.
That's true. We need that. Reece James backup.
Yeah, I think Amrabat, as that comment just said, like obviously I'm Moroccan, I've been watching him with
I was going to ask you about Amrabat now, funny enough. Yeah.
But for me, he's like a lot of people say Unahi or Bafal or the for me, he's our secret guy. He was playing like Kante with a bit of Mikel. Like for me, he was just he was for me the star player during this World Cup, the dark horse one. Obviously, you got Messi and Mbappe, but I'm saying a player that can actually be brought this January. Amrabat seems to answer a lot of things, especially if Kante is going to leave. Like, honestly, if I was, I'm not, but if I was in the Chelsea, I'll say get Amrabat and Unahi because our midfield needs a lot of work. And yeah, that's my main point.
Good to see you, man. See you, YOG. It's nice to see you as always, mate. And well done for Morocco, mate. They done well.
Enjoyed the World Cup, man. We got far.
You know what I'll say? Well, they've done well in the World Cup, Morocco. Got to say, they
yes.
should have beat France as well. To be honest, I think. But
I wish we did, man. That would have been crazy for it to the finals. But I'll take the little fourth place. We're now in top 10, I think 10th. Big up the Clan in the house. Down on the
Morocco.
Yes,
we're going to get to declared in a bit. I just want to
get an Australian player in.
Oh yeah, Australia as well. Australia didn't do too bad, declared. We'll get to you in a second, though. We'll come to you in a bit. 1 second. Let's go to NJ. NJ, what you saying?
Yeah, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I don't know. It's getting frustrating now to be a Chelsea fan. I think, truth be told, I think we need to wake up and smell some coffee here, because top 4 is out of reach. And if I can be honest, this is the worst Chelsea side. I mean, I don't know, maybe for 2 decades. You see, because another thing that is killing us is this stop and go, chopping and change of managers. Remember, Frankie Lampard, he came in, brought in some pool of players. Thomas Tuchel came in, and then he tried to get rid of those players. He was trying to build a team, was sacked, and now it's Graham Potter. I just don't know. But this chopping and changing is not helping us. You know, we were a Premier League team. Last time we won the Premier League, it was when Antonio Conte was here, was at Chelsea. But then now we've got the players that we have, truth be told, they're like bang average. And another thing, you've got players like Reece James, Chilwell, who else? Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I mean, every season these players, they get injured. Well, but Reece James is our main man, I know. But each and every single season, they get injured. While you're on a good run, then the momentum breaks down. And then when these players are not there, it's just we are having a poor run of form. You see, and these things are frustrating. I don't know whether maybe it's me, but now we just look like an ordinary team. But top 4 is out of reach. For another example, that's another point that I want to state. Look at a team like Arsenal. Arsenal coming to the breach and dominate us. We've got player like Aubameyang. I don't know. This thing is not has never been said, but when Lukaku, I remember, we're playing Crystal Palace away. Lukaku got 7 touches. Aubameyang this year at Stamford Bridge, playing for Chelsea, only 8 touches. You see.
But the thing is that I just want to say something about the strikers quickly. Even if you put Haaland in Chelsea, he'll get 2 touches. So the thing about Chelsea right now is a midfield. I mean, players like Sterling, Havertz. I mean, even Sterling, he's even struggling at Chelsea because of the midfield. I don't like. For me, I will only gonna judge like someone like Kai Havertz, even Sterling, or even Aubameyang when you have like world class midfield. Let's say if you had like a Frank Lampard, Makelele, and you have like Kante, and still Havertz is not scoring, and Sterling's not scoring, then you can like they're shit players. Like if you had a Kevin De Bruyne, then you can judge players like Havertz. But the thing is that our midfield has been so bad for the past 5 years. Thomas Tuchel was lucky for the Champions League because he had a full Kante fit. So the reason why Thomas Tuchel won the Champions League was because you had a full fit Kante that won us against Real Madrid, that won us the final. Many people say Jorginho, but if we didn't have the full fit Kante in the season that we won Champions League, we would not win the Champions League. Graham Potter doesn't have Kante anymore. Kante is done. Jorginho is finished. So Graham Potter came to Chelsea with players like Loftus-Cheek, Zakaria, who I don't even know if he can play anymore. So I feel bad for Potter. I do actually feel bad for him because he does not even know right now what midfielders he's going to play for Chelsea to win.
Georgie is not finished because 1 minute. I don't like when people say that because we've also done a disservice to J5 because we've been pairing him up with the wrong people beside him. So I get it. Maybe sometimes I just wish Georgie would leave this club and go to a play style that suits him for people to realize how good he is. But apart from that, I agree with almost everything that you said.
Yeah, you're right about Jorginho. So, like the thing about Jorginho, I just feel like in Champions League he suits better because of the slow pace. I just feel like in Premier League, it was never for him. By finish, I mean in Premier League. I feel like for me, I would always saying that we should keep Jorginho for Champions League and get someone more physical for Premier League. You know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Can I ask you? Is Jorginho and Kante responsible for the creative side of the midfield?
No, because he wouldn't have created if they were in the team anyway. So that's the truth.
Sure.
Well, then it didn't bring up that. You talked about our defensive side of midfielders, and then he talked about that's our problem.
Crucial, but Kante was very crucial for Thomas Tuchel because
listen, mate, you're in the third stage of coping. That's where you're at right now. First, you said Bowley's doing a great job. We got to give Potter another year, right? And then you want 2 more midfielders, right? In January, we got a top 4 chance.
No, I didn't say top 4.
You say we need world class midfielders like Lampard. Where are you going to find these guys?
Oh,
and you gave Bowley a head like already praise.
No,
the guy hasn't done nothing. You know what he's done, and this is where you got to understand. This is what you're not seeing, right? Is that the majority of his transfers, he's buying up all the young talent. He has no interest in your Champions League and where we're going to finish on the ladder, right? He brought Potter in to build a team. He's buying up. The window hasn't even opened, and he's buying young players. He went after so many young players last window. He's trying to buy all the young talent, right? He's going to cycle this team out and hope that we can make a team from this young talent. But you know what? But what Bowley hasn't done is produced a young talent. What Potter hasn't done is produced a young talent that's gone on to do great things yet as well. So this is unknown area. There is no system in place. I'll just finish. Even under Roman, right? He had a sister cup with Vanessa, right? And then we loaned so many players. We had some kind of system in trying to develop young players. The problem was we didn't give him a proper chance in the first team. That's where we go. Bowley, what does Bowley have? What avenues? We don't. Yeah, we don't have that. He's going to buy an abundance of young players, and probably ruin half their development if they don't get played and properly done.
How do you know?
I don't know.
How do you know? 3 months.
Nomadic. We don't know. You guys are talking like you know. I'm saying this could happen because we are talking about the unknown.
Stating it as fact.
I'm stating it as the unknown. The fact is that it's unknown. You guys are saying this is going to happen. This is going to happen.
Half of them are going to go out. Half of them are going to do this. It doesn't make sense. How are you sitting here saying he is not buying anything? Just wait a minute. Over the summer,
you're taking my words. You're taking half the sentence.
Makes sense. You're waffling.
I said
you're waffling.
Hold on, Nomadic. Yeah. You're taking the wrong word. You took half the sentence. I said half of them we gone, right, ruin their development if, right, they don't get a chance to play, if there's not a proper development. They all can't develop at Chelsea.
You didn't say that. You didn't say that.
You started talking when I'm halfway through that sentence.
You didn't say that.
That's what happens when you start talking halfway through the sentence. That's the point I made.
My point is, I'm sorry I shouted, but my point is, it doesn't work like that.
I like
Not
it.
everyone that comes into Not everyone that comes into a football team makes it. Not everyone that is in our academy is going to make it. Not everyone who's by is going to make it. Do we want them to do that? Yes. But life doesn't work like that, and so does football. Not everyone is going to make it. But you sitting here and telling us Bolly doesn't know what he's doing. In the summer, everyone was complaining at how open our transfer window was, and everyone knowing everyone knowing our targets, and that's why we were not getting some of them. Now we're doing this. As you've said, the window hasn't even opened yet, but you're already saying that he's not going for anyone. Don't you think they see that? If we as fans are seeing that we need ABCD,
when did I say we're not going for
they're
anyone?
learning from their mistakes?
What mistake? He just came in. He came in, right?
What?
Overpaid.
But you're saying,
hold on. Let me make the point. When Bolly before he bought the club made so many promises. We're gonna buy smart, data-centric transfers, right? Every transfer that he did, he overpaid. Right?
This is what he's doing, scouting.
And these players, and just like Dino brought up, these players aren't performing. So I don't know what data, or he just bought what Tuchel wanted. Whatever happened, right, was a mess, because if he bought for Tuchel, he sacked them straight away, right? 7 games. He didn't want him. He brought a guy in, and he wants to, and then he went after all these young players, and that's all he's doing. So
wait.
What's fact?
I trust Tuchel, Deck, and Tuchel, we trust me.
Yeah, let me just this, because I know what you're doing here, Declared. I get what you're saying. All right, I get what you're saying. But however, all right.
Yeah.
The thing is this, mate. The fact that him signing. I'm trying to get what you're saying here, because you're saying that he's.
I can clear it up. What I'm trying to say, because what I'm saying.
What you're saying, and I'll say what I'm going to say. All right.
So to help you, because I was going on too long. Basically, the reason I'm talking here, right, is because people are hopeful, and like I said, in different stages of coping, right. But because we don't know Bolly, we haven't had a long history like we have with Roman. Because when we were with Roman, we knew. A manager didn't do so and so. He might lose his job, yeah. But we don't know with Bolly, and now he's made a statement with the first manager, and all I can go off is the players that he's going after and why, right?
Okay.
So the players that he's going after and the age in that group gives you an indication on maybe why, and if a technical director came in, then that gives you an indication of the direction of the club. Right now, I feel like the direction of the club is getting an abundance of young talent. And then from that comes a new team, and he's already trying to cycle this team out, and that's long term.
Okay.
So anyone that has short term vision, I said maybe forget about it because of what's happening. That's the point.
Okay, so let me just quickly say this, right? There is nothing wrong with what Bolu's doing right now in attracting the young prospects, right? Because let's be serious. The ones that we are bringing along, and there's a number of names, top prospects, different different countries, nations, whatever. A lot of these guys, part of the reason why I think they're choosing Chelsea, and again, this is just an assumption. I'm not saying that I know this when I say this. Is because I think that we're kind of opening the door to what we want to do in the future, and I think one of the things that we're telling them that we want them to do is that I think we're going to try and give them the opportunity to have a chance in the first team. But their progression is going to be key. So they're going to have to, they might go on loans, they might stay in the Chelsea reserves, but it's going to be important for them to force themselves into the team at some point. Now, I don't think Chelsea, from the way Roman was to what we are going to do now, is going to be the same. I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and cater for some of these youngsters to be given the opportunity to be fitted in, maybe granted under a Graham Potter, right, who will maybe give them the chance at some point and ultimately bring them into the players that they then become moving as they get older. But the now doesn't mean that from what we're seeing now, it's very hard for us to predict where we're going or what the philosophy or the idea or the project is of Bowley, other than that these players are for the long term. The now hasn't been shown yet. We don't know the project of the now. We don't know the project of what Bowley, Egbali, and Graham Potter's ideas are for. But us signing these players is not a bad thing, because if some of them don't make it, I'm telling you now, they will sell them on and they will make money on them. So this is why the incentives are there. This is why the long contracts are there for these young players, because they're being given the chance to break into a top big team like Chelsea with these long contracts, with incentives, with bonuses, I think other things that are attracting them away from going City, Liverpool, Barcelona, Real Madrid. Yeah, because these other players like Andrey Santos, who's just signed for Chelsea now, apparently had offers across top European clubs and chose Chelsea over him. It's because they could see that there's an opportunity to get themselves into this team. And maybe not now, but in the long term. And I say long term, I don't mean 10 years. I'm not talking 5 years. I'm talking potentially 3-4 years in, to then break in.
Our future players. That's what you want to say.
There's nothing wrong with.
I'm not saying it as a bad thing, Jem.
What else? One second. There's nothing wrong with having these young players coming in and showing us what they can do and showing Bowley what they can do. It's either going to work, and we might find a golden egg, 2 golden eggs that come in and they force themselves in the team at a young age, show maturity, and just fall into the Premier League and look very good, and they make our system work. That's the aim. I think that's what we want to do with them ultimately. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I agree with that. The thing I was actually pointing out, right, is that Bowley doesn't have a great plan for these young players. So any club can get a whole bunch spend heaps of money, right, if they have the resources, get all the young talent, and by probability, right?
Yeah, I disagree on that, mate. I disagree on that.
Yeah, all right.
Let me finish. I'll let you finish.
Let me finish the point, and then you can disagree all you want, because I just started. How can you disagree with something I haven't even finished?
I'll let you finish off, Declared, man. But I'll just say, I know you're coming from my floor, but I know you signed out, my bro.
Listen, if a lot of clubs with the resources, if they wanted to just pay heaps of money for a lot of talent, right, and convince them over, sell them everything, and then if you don't, and then some will come by probability, some will come good, right? What happens in between? If you're such a good club in a process, the Dortmunds, the club, the other Southampton, right? They got a great. They don't have to buy such an abundance of talent to make it work. They have a great system. Right now, Bowley doesn't have that system, so
They do have a system.
We don't know. That's what I'm saying. He has nothing. He hasn't shown anything. This is the unknown. So he is getting so many. So I think he's playing the probability number, right? That's what it looks like to me, because there's nothing being shown. There's nothing that Potter's been This is nothing we've seen. Potter hasn't even made young players into just great top into the top teams. Other than Cucurella, do you know what I mean? So what I know, Jeff,
because
what I'm saying
Fernandez is because McAllister is 30, right?
McAllister, yeah, very good player as well.
Because McAllister is 30.
Yeah.
He's 30,
at
right?
Brighton, yeah?
No, but he's 30 years old.
No, I'm saying he's at Brighton, yeah?
It's
and
fine,
McAllister didn't come in as a very young player.
McAllister didn't come to. But you said Potter has never.
McAllister didn't come to Brighton at 18, 19 years old.
That's what I'm asking. You've said it. He hasn't molded any young player. So I'm asking, is McAllister 30?
What age did McAllister come to Brighton? All right. So hold on. So what I'm getting at is that
24. Apparently, Ramsey.
I'm talking about. It's great. We're getting all these young players, right? I'm worried about the development because it's such an unknown. It's something we haven't seen. It's something that Bowley and the experts haven't. Who's the rest of the team that's going to get the development? Are we going to loan these players? Is there a is there a plan for Bowley to buy another club which you kind of suggested, to throw these players in? Yeah. So what's the process to get these players into?
But this is the thing. It's all unknown, isn't it? And this is the thing I keep saying. We don't know any of this. We don't know if Potter can bring up players and make them world class. We don't know what the idea of the project that Bowley wants to go down. We don't know what we're going to do in the now. We don't know what we're going to do with these youngsters. We're just signing them. These are all of this is. Look, they've got a plan. They know what they're doing. The recruitment's been appointed. The hierarchy's been appointed. They're all on the same page. All we need to know now, or let's see now, is progression. Is giving them time to show us their vision. But we can't assume because they're signing all these young players, they ain't got no idea, they're no vision. We don't know. It's too early.
That's what I'm saying, Joe. 100%. That's why I brought it up, because some of the people that gave their opinions earlier, right, we're talking like there's the known. I can, the way it's going, right, and the way they're recruiting, maybe Potter might not be here in a year. Someone said give him a year. Someone said let's get some world-class players in January.
Yeah.
They don't look like they're they're going to get world-class players. They look like they're getting players under 21 years old. If anyone, if you're waiting for a player over 21, might not happen unless we really need that player. Unless we lose someone, and we need him for
how many world-class players that we bought was flopping? You know, we bought so many world-class players. Havertz was supposed to be generational flop. Lukaku flop. Sterling might be flopping now. Fofana,
Lukaku world-class.
No, but some people did call him world-class at the time.
But I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say they flop.
I disagree, Dan. Fast.
Yeah, no, but Declare, but you come out. It sounds like you're stressed, bro. You're really stressed at this football club.
No, I'm having fun actually.
Why?
I miss everyone. I haven't been on the streams. I forgot about Chelsea. I missed the World Cup already.
I miss you too, Declare. I miss you too.
I'm dreading having to watch Chelsea again.
Hey, declared. His name, his title name gives it away. Declared war. That's why he comes on it. He just
yeah, because he wants the war.
Making a declaration.
Chelsea Dan, go. This is Chelsea Dan. Go on, mate. What you got?
Oh, big up to the panel. Merry Christmas and a happy New Year. It's a new generation and it's a new season for us, man. All right, after the World Cup, I'm not going to say yet. I'm not going to say the players are flops yet. It's just Ray Potter. It hasn't got a system where he's changed 55 times in the system at Chelsea Football Club, right? Where he hasn't got a formation right for his club. I think whether you notice, how you notice is right. If you saw him play against Aston Villa, he played a 4-3-3 and he did well for that system. And he never changed it after that. Like, every single time that this new season, he was changing formation. In the first half and in the second half, he'll change it. These players, I don't say they're flops. I just don't think they work as a team. I don't think they play as a team. It's because if you notice, the positions, you see Sterling at a right wing back or a left wing back, he don't play that position. He should be playing that position. With the Potter, he's only been with us for 3 months, and at the time he didn't get a chance to work with the players at the training ground because we had games in every single game, like 3 games in. He never had the whole week to train with his players. Like back in the day, where our managers, they used to have a whole week, to train with the players, to know the players what's best. The thing is, what I'm worried about, if Potter doesn't change this system now, and if he loses 5 games, with our Chelsea fan base, I'm moaning that they want Potter out. Why can't we not just stress that? Can't we not just not stress? I'm getting fed up with people don't give managers chance to flip and adapt. Look at Alex Ferguson. This is what I mean. Back in prime days, no one don't understand. It took 2 or 3 years to Alex Ferguson to adapt for Man United to win Premier League titles. It took Arsenal Wenger. It took Arsenal Wenger. The same at Arsenal. Right? It took Michael Arteta 3 seasons. It took Jordan Klopp. He's been at Liverpool 7 years Klopp. It took him 3 years season and won the Premier League, and 2 seasons after that he won the Champions League. I don't care what anyone says, mate. I don't care what anyone says, You have to give Potter time to reduce these players, and actually get to know his football team. And once this team, what he's got, it's not his team. This is Todd Bowley's team. This is Todd Bowley's team, right? It is actually Todd Bowley's team. It's not his team. Let's see how he does when he get his players in. He might change things around, but if he doesn't, then yes, people could say we want him out. We've had so many managers. We've had so many managers, mate. Yeah, we've had we had Carlos Ancelotti. We did well. All the Chelsea fans wanted him out. We had Graham, who's the interim manager for Chelsea, wanted him out. We had Di Matteo, he didn't even get a chance. He won the Champions League that first season against Bayern Munich. The next minute, all the fan base wanted him out, even though he wasn't actually a proper manager. I'm getting stressed out with it, and I'm so sorry.
Have a break.
Don't get stressed.
I know, but it's just our Chelsea fan base. I've heard everything on his feet. It's a joke. J5, it needs to. He needs to play better in the Premier League, or if he doesn't, He needs to go. He needs to go. He's 31.
Do you know what's funny with this, Ram? That you're a Liverpool fan and everything only shows one. Where's two, mate? Yeah, exactly. You've only got one, mate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See you later. Anyway, Chelsea Dan letting out his frustrations there. Some of the people in the chat agreeing with him as well on that. I want to go to. Let me go to Rodrigo. I'm going to come to you. Let me go to AJ quickly, and I'll come to you. Yeah, 2 seconds. Go on, AJ. Go.
Yo, big up, guys. Yo, everybody smash the like button. I always wanted to say that.
Yeah, smash the like button. Smash the like, and make sure you do.
Smash the like button, man.
No, I'm late to the convo, but I see you guys are talking about the young players that we've been signing. I just want everybody to remember over the summer we signed Koulibaly, we signed Cucurella, we signed first team players, but then remember we signed Chukwuemeka, we signed the midfielder. What's the young
Cassidy.
Yeah.
I remember they said it's a two-prong approach. They're trying to fill the first team and they're trying to fill the team for the future. So I think these players that we're still buying, you see we're buying this Brazilian talent. We bought Fofana. I think they're not for this season coming up. They're for the season. They're probably for 24 and forward. So after this year, I believe Potter, Bowley, they're gonna get rid of all the players that they don't believe in or that don't want to be on the team anymore. We're hearing rumors that they're players that they don't like how it goes at Chelsea right now with Potter. What was that ex-player that did that interview and he said, "Oh, there's players that's like clowning things that are going on behind the scenes." So there's obviously the situation that Chelsea's in is very complicated. It's not straightforward. There's not one solution. So everybody's just presenting one solution, but that's not going to fix all the problems. Everybody's solution that has been presented is going to be part of the solution. It's not going to just be one thing. So what you're saying, yes, we need to focus on first team players as well. Yes, that's part of the solution. Nomad, you're saying we're going to focus on them, but we have to bring in future players. Yes, that's part of the solution. Everybody is right. Nobody has said anything that's incorrect. Now, the thing is, again, we're in 8th place currently. Potter came in, a month into the season or so? He was thrown into a terrible situation, and we were already on the decline. Everybody forgets that we were declining under Tuchel.
Yeah.
Forgetting that. Since the end of last season, we were declining. Granted, Tuchel was dealing with so many exterior issues, but we were declining, right? Don't forget that.
True.
So now Potter comes in. Everybody was excited with Potter. Obviously, it's going to take you...
Facts, mate. Talking facts.
Most people were excited with Potter. Let me change that. Now, because Potter has a great reputation. He built Brighton. Look at Brighton now, they're high flying. They have great players. And before they weren't considered great players, but now when you see them come together as a team, now you consider them great players. Now some of them are affecting the World Cup. So this is how it goes. It's a process. But at the same time, Potter's in the middle and the beginning of our process. So you can't judge him on the last 10, 15 games. He had to organize he has to see what he's working with. He had to give players chances. As a new coach, when you come in, you have to give everybody a chance. You have to. When Tuchel came in, he was rotating until he finally found his quote unquote best, 7, 8 players, and then there will be 2, 3 players where he would always change. And that's how it goes. So Potter has had the World Cup has given Potter he had a chance,
big chance. Yeah, I gave him a big chance actually.
Break with the team and now think about what he wants to do. So now the next 3-4 months is very crucial because we need to finish in the top 4, but we probably going to finish somewhere within the top 6. That's my
I think 6
prediction.
Well, do you know what, AJ?
Yeah.
You finished. You anything else you want to say?
I was just gonna say, in order for us to get top players, like declared wants and these players, we have to finish in a respectable place because otherwise, if it now becomes a player is now choosing between us and a team that's finished in the top 4, or a team that's in Chelsea in the Champions League, but they're outside of England, they're probably gonna go to that team. And we just need to back Potter this January window. We have to get 1-2 players that affect things right now, just like Diaz did for Liverpool last year. So that's what I need to
Can I ask AJ as well? Does the respectable position matter for Potter as well? That's what I'm concerned with, not the players that are going to come in.
A good one.
Well, we don't know who's coming in. We only know right now that these youngsters are coming in because these type of signings...
No. You said to be attractive. Isn't that the point you were making?
Yeah, in the summertime, yes. In the summer.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I'm more concerned of what happens with Potter if we don't get that respectable position or decent position.
Potter's gonna be there.
Is it a separate? No. But that's what I really want to know. That's what I'm really tossing up with. If we finish 5th to 6th, I think he's all right. But I think if we finish 7th, 8th, 9th, like something around there, where there's going to be a massive outrage towards the end of the season. I actually this last time you guys said you weren't sure, right? Because I said, what if he finishes above 7th, right? At 7th onwards, right? He's not going to get relegated. That's not what I'm saying, because that's what you said last time. Above 7th, and you know how the Chelsea fan are going to react. If we finish 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, something like that, around there, right? Think of going into the backlash from fans, going in all the way to the end of the season, and maybe Bowley might give into pressure. Who knows what happens? There's going to be Bowley has to come out and say that he backs his man. Something is going to have to give.
Did we not finish 10th one season in the Premier League?
Yeah. I think so. I think someone got sacked, didn't they?
We're not finishing.
Yeah, but they didn't get sacked that season. He didn't get sacked straight away. Yeah, Jose Mourinho. Yeah.
Jose, we did. Yeah, we did.
But he did get sacked though, didn't he? He did get sacked. He had another season.
We brought in Conte.
He came in.
This squad that we have is a top 6. Like, it should be finishing top 6.
Definitely.
No, it's not top 6. I think it's Wolves.
Top 8, top 10 to me.
It's been top 4 for how long?
No,
this squad is big.
Well, we finished top 6 easy. Man.
Listen, when Frank Lampard got sacked and Thomas Tuchel come in, we were 8th and we finished 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as people say it's done, forget top 4, it's done. We had the same shit when we was with Lampard and we ended up finding ourselves. These players can put a patch of consistency together. As bad as they are with their consistency, they can do it. Whether they're going to do it or not is another fucking story. But we don't know what we're going to get from that. We're just going to have to wait. But to be honest, I think we should get top 4. However, it wouldn't surprise me if we finished 5th or 6th. It wouldn't.
But Jem, what's worrying is that we ain't even got the manager bounce.
Go on, Rodrigo. Go on, this speak.
No, this is why.
I just want to say,
Jem, bro, you should be making top 4, man, because the last season you'll be making it, man.
Direct, let Rodrigo go. Let Rodrigo go.
I'll be quick, man. I'll let you go, man. Yeah. I just want to say, how good were Brighton really under Potter? How good was Brighton really? Let's talk about that. Really, how good was Brighton?
Plus.
Bro, look at the progress. It's about progress.
32%
for a relegating fighting team, that's all right.
Exactly. You thinking of it as it's even. It's not even.
Exactly,
Brighton is not as big as Chelsea.
Brighton had no idea Chelsea, man. Chelsea's a different beast.
Yeah, but it's a different game at the top, though. We've seen Pochettino do the same thing. We saw Nuno do the same thing. Rodrigo.
Exactly, bro. No pressure, bro. Chelsea has the pressure in the world, man, because they're elite, man.
Rodrigo,
guys. 1 second. Rodrigo, go on, speak. Yeah. All I would say before you say that is that Graham Potter built a Brighton team which the top 6 teams didn't enjoy playing against and lost against quite a lot as well. Just letting you know.
I think I beat Arsenal. I beat Man United with that team. I beat Man United with that team.
Nuno Espirito Santo also built a Wolves team from the Championship all the way to the Premier League, finishing Europa League. So I don't really know. But anyway, that's not really my point. I understand we need to give Graham Potter time. I know as much as I don't really think he has the charisma to handle a big club, but what can I do? I'm just a fan, right? I just to support or just follow the team. But in terms of these young players we're signing, I'm actually excited. For once, I want to see Chelsea signing a non-players. But like what Declare said, we also need players for the first team. It doesn't stop us from signing a kid like this, Andrey Santos, who could come in and play in the first team. Who knows? It could be that good. they say top 3 in Brazil, right? Him, the other kid that we're following, Victor Roque. So maybe that. I think I'll give them a chance. Obviously, they could come in and do a job for us, because what we've seen now on the pitch is just not good enough. And I feel like for a manager like Graham Potter, he needs players like he can mold into systems that he want. I don't think he will work with established superstar, because obviously they won't listen to him. So give him a young team.
They won't listen to him.
And then
how do you know?
What kind of statement is that? Like, we say
How do you
some
know,
wild
Rodrigo?
things
How do you know
sometimes.
that they won't listen?
He's just not going to listen to them.
On the
What are
book,
you
I've been
talking
saying
about
that
here?
he has no,
Have you guys
there's
played
no
sports
track
before?
record. How do you know that?
Yeah,
the
he's got the book.
superstars
He's got the
listen?
minerals. He's got the minerals. He's never done it before. Why am I gonna go? He's
So
managing.
exactly. So how do you know that if he's never done it before? How
That's
do you
what
know
he's
that?
saying. Rodrigo, bro, you never
He's saying
know,
he
bro.
hasn't done
Give
it.
him the
He hasn't
chance,
done
man.
it.
So how do you
Hey,
know that?
hey guys, one at a time, man. One at a time. Come on, one at a time, because
Listen,
people in the chat can't hear.
Dan,
One
finish
at
your
a time,
Kit Kat,
guys.
mate. All right.
I'll just
No, you
Step
finish.
break.
Hey, go get your stress pills. Go get your stress pills declared.
I'm gonna finish
What
my
is that,
point.
Viagra? I
Let
mean,
you guys
what's
go.
stressful?
Let me just finish my point and I'll let you guys go. What I'm saying is, I've never seen him manage big egos, manage superstars, so I don't know. And I've got evidence in the past with managers I've never managed big egos and then they flop. So he's not
Who has a big ego on our team? Who has a big ego on our team?
Well,
Exactly, bro.
I think all of them.
Sterling.
All of them
Yo,
has
give
a
me
go.
some names, man.
I'm giving you names. Sterling.
Sterling has a go.
Yeah, I'll give you
Really?
Sterling. I'll give you Ziyech. Obviously, I'll give you Pulisic. I give you who else?
Ziyech.
Actually, you have an ego
These
for
are
being
all
shit.
soft mentality players that you're talking about. You're telling me that they have
Well,
big.
that's what it is, Jim. They're playing badly, but they think they're
on,
doing
man.
well.
Yeah, but
That's
you
their
can't have
ego.
you have an ego when you're like the bollocks and you're really good, didn't you? You don't have an ego when you're shit and you can't even play well for the club you're at, do you? Like, you know what I mean?
There's
Like,
no ego there.
That's
bro.
why I said the whole team.
You're just playing
The
terrible.
whole soft
Exactly,
mentality.
bro. That don't make
like
sense,
Ronaldo has
cuz.
an ego. Do you know what I mean?
So,
Like that.
getting these young players, and then for us, my expectation with Graham Potter at the helm is we need to finish 10th. I don't want us to finish. I don't know. You guys keep saying 6. I don't want us to finish top 6. Play Europa League. What
Europa
the
League.
hell?
No, we don't want to
We
either.
need
We
to
don't
finish.
want
I
to.
don't want to.
Our
But we
squad is
looking
good
at
enough to finish in the
Rodrigo, man, what type of fan are you? You want your team to fail?
Bro, I want
Come
to
on,
finish
man. What's
10th.
that all about?
Yeah, I'm telling
we
you.
will have
finish
a better. Yes, I was
Yeah,
just
we
going to say
finish
we'll have a
10th.
better season next season
Yeah,
if we finish
exactly.
outside of Europa.
Man wants his team to finish that low, man. That's disgraceful, man.
Yes.
Hey, you're an Arsenal supporter. You just saw the benefits of not going to Europa, and now you're going to say,
True.
with your team, we just saw you do it. You're the example.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
you going to come and tell us this is what you wanted?
Come on, man. Come
Yeah,
on,
but
man. Chelsea fans should be more
Keito's
optimistic, man.
facts.
Why are
He
you guys
knows that
being
Arsenal's
like
not going to win the league this season,
negative,
though,
man?
declared.
You know,
He knows
you
Arsenal.
big
He
old
knows
negative.
Arsenal ain't going to win it.
Come on.
Pyrex, bro, you're Arsenal fan. You've been negative for what, decades, and now you just saw a glimmer of hope. What happens if you guys don't win the season and you just fall out
We're
of
gonna win the
top
league.
4? We're gonna win the league. I'm gonna see some true negativity, some spiteful stuff if you guys don't.
Thank you,
finish
man.
poorly
You
this
said it
season.
on here, bro. Jem, you admitted that Arsenal win the league, cuz. Thank you, bro.
We are going to
That's
win
what
the
you said,
league
man.
above Arsenal. Arsenal are going to finish
He said
20th,
we.
and we're going to
He's
finish
not.
first. Watch, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
Chelsea are
Potter's
gonna
gonna start
win.
shifting some
Say
gears.
nothing, man. I'm
Declare, can
clipping
I ask you
Jem.
something? What,
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
what happens if we finish second this season?
We finished second.
Nah.
Second.
Wait a sec. Let's just say for some
needs to be
crazy, we put on some good run of form. Wait a sec, and let's just say that some of the teams like Tottenham, maybe Arsenal, Liverpool,
If we get relegated, bro, I'll generally suffer, man. You know what I mean?
all just drop points. All just drop points, right? And we managed to get second. What would you say then?
There's
Then
definitely going to be
I'll pass out, Jim. Then I'll pass out. I'll pass out on the
probably.
floor and I'll be sleeping, dreaming. I'll be having all the sheep like they've been counting, like we finished second this season.
It can happen, guys. Believe we are.
Hey, I'll be pinching myself, Jem. Right, but there'll be high praises because all I wanted to see because to get to second.
The greatest ever manager, man, because that's your highest finish since Conte, man, in 2017. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hold up, you guys haven't finished the season yet.
Conte, if you get second.
Look,
Yeah.
for us to get second, there will be a system in place. There will be players that we don't want now stepping all up. It will be amazing what we're seeing.
Kai Havertz,
We'll see the way Potter wants to play. We'll see it being played madly. We'll see players that aren't scoring. There'll be I'll be blown away.
Yeah, Kai Havertz, second part of the season hype. He comes back with his second part form. You remember? He loves the second part of the season form. Kai Havertz. Watch, it's gonna be leading the way.
Yeah, don't miss Havertz, mate. Kai Havertz,
man,
mate.
guys,
He's
I'm
got a
off.
hat trick.
JJ.
You know what I mean?
No, man. Take it easy. Merry Christmas, boy.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, don't diss Kai Havertz, mate. He's got a hat trick against Brentford, man. It's gonna be one of them. It's gonna be another R9 Ronaldo, mate, coming in the edge of the season, man, scoring these banging goals for us, man, being make us finish in top number one. I know. I think we've put a situation, Jim. Yeah, right, and you guys, yeah. I know where you lot are coming from, and I know you like your stress, yeah. But we've got manufactured this year. Potter's only came in with us for 2 months in the season. Once Thomas Tuchel got sacked. It was a bad thing for Thomas Tuchel to get sacked, but at the end of the day, we've got to get over it now. We haven't got him no more. We've got Potter. I've been on different shows and everyone saying, "Oh, we missed Thomas Tuchel. He shouldn't have got sacked." But please get over it, man. It's done and deal, man. He got sacked. That's it. We've got Potter. But with this Potter situation, yeah, we know he is a good manager. He was a good manager at Brighton. It took him time to adapt for Brighton to get good players, yeah. And he beat big teams. He beat Liverpool. He beat Man United. He actually, when he came to us, yeah, Brighton was like top 4 in the Premier League. Top 4 in the Premier League, yeah. And now he's left. Brighton's dropped. Yes, we're 8th for a minute, but we need this flow going. He needs to figure out a system.
Sorry, they're just laughing at this comment. If declared was any more negative, it'd be a cure for COVID.
They think declared is
I might
negative.
be. I
My
haven't gotten
God.
it yet. I haven't gotten
They
it.
think you're negative. They
You
haven't
listen,
heard-
Chelsea fan base is negative even when we're winning. It's in their blood. It's in their
Do you
blood.
know what's so funny? I've stated all facts, right? And I've stated and I said the unknown, right? And you know what everyone's response is right? Or how do you know? So you guys are hopeful on the unknown, like you believe in ghosts and miracles and fairy tales.
But
I'm talking about on the little facts that I
Argentina
have.
won the World Cup.
Declared
I
players
picked
do you want?
Argentina to win the World Cup as well. So
Declared.
Notre
What
Dame.
players do you want in January?
Declared. You're
No
talking
one.
about the unknown.
AJ, I said this. I've said this quite a few times. I want no one. I want to see, because this is a top 4 team. The last 5 seasons top 4,
Top 2,
right? Yeah. So if Potter can't get this team to start playing well, right? With these new, we spent heaps of money too. So we've got new players. We've got some great young players as well. If he can't get something out of this team to make a progress on where we left off before the World Cup, right? To actually just finish decently, right? Then maybe he's not our guy. That's where I'm at. And then I'm saying, yeah.
You think the team is better this year than last year? Because we barely made 4th last year.
Chelsea.
Yeah, with the people we brought in, I rated those players.
Declare, who I declare my boy. Who like say you say Paul won't be our guy. Who would be our guy as a manager?
Who?
Yeah, because you're saying about Paul won't be our guy as a manager. Yeah.
You can get Graham Arnold, Australian.
Wait. So if he came to Chelsea and he did the same thing as Potter's doing, then people will want him out, wouldn't they?
Hey, so Dan, is that seriously a defense for Potter? Who would we get? We got no other choices, so we should just stick to the one we got. Is that what we're at?
Exactly, bro. Because he signed a 5-year deal, bro. Bollywood look
How
bad.
many games?
No. He signed a 5-year deal with a 3+ years.
So we can't sack him. So regardless of what happens, we can't sack him.
No, declare.
Yeah.
One second. Can we just talk logically? This really just stop.
I've been talking logically.
Let's just talk logically. All right.
No, you haven't.
Listen.
I want some answers.
We got rid of Thomas Tuchel a couple games in after giving him a ton of funds to buy players that he thought were, his players there and being given time, all right, in his head. All right. Whatever happened between him and Bowley after communications over the summer window, falling out of Egg Valley, Maybe that was part of it more than the squad itself, right? Fair enough, right? He goes, we commit to getting rid of him, and he gives us Graham Potter, right? We then get Graham Potter in. It makes no sense to go and get rid of Graham Potter for a Luis Enrique in the summer, right? And on the back of just sacking Thomas Tuchel for him. You might as well just sack Thomas Tuchel, yeah, and then sack Thomas Tuchel at the end of the window, yeah, at the end of the season, and just got Luis Enrique in. You bring in Potter in, not only does it mean that you've pulled him away from Brighton and what he was doing there, but you've also sold him a dream because you've told him you've told him in a way that him coming here doesn't mean that you're just here for the now. And that is not the conversation that I can imagine Bowley has had with Potter about this season. And the fact that Thomas Tuchel was struggling at the end of them couple of games, and we're now seeing it with Graham Potter, it's no fucking. It's not a magic. It's been like that. We like we've said, it's a declining squad. We know what we possess. So it doesn't matter what manager you put in there right now. They may be able to get them to play to a certain level, but ultimately they're going to have the same problem because it's the proper players we have.
Facts.
We're literally seeing the same problems on the field.
But we got to stop looking past the manager. Get rid of the manager. Get rid of the manager. Get rid of the manager. It's these players.
What I'm saying is that maybe Bowley doesn't know what he's doing, right?
Exactly.
Because people are praising him.
Since 2018, Sarri.
Tuchel didn't get sacked for his results. That's what he said. They didn't get along, right? So what you said, Jem, was logical. He should have kept him till later on and then sack him later, right? That's the logical thing to do. But he had a falling out with him on a personal level rather than his job, right? So now we got Potter in, right? And who he gets along in personally, because there was reports that he started talking, asking about Potter during the Cucurella transfer. So he's been like, this started way before the season started, right? So this negativity or whatever has happened, this build up, that's why it came early, right? Now, Tuchel's sacking was a whole different story. It looks like he gets along with Potter, right? Now, what happens on the results? Just because he gave him 5 years, right, doesn't mean he's untouchable. You guys even admit that. If we drift really mid-table or something, then he might lose his job. You can't say he doesn't.
He'll be here. He's going to be here for sure next season. Until after next season, he'll be here.
AJ, I dare him to lose to Bournemouth. I dare him. I dare Potter to lose to Bournemouth. I dare him to lose to Bournemouth. I dare him.
Bro, listen.
Rodrigo, one second. Can I ask you saying this, right? This is the current. AJ sent me this, right? And this is something we need to evaluate. Because again, it goes back to what I say about Chelsea fans. Yes. We're always so in the moment about things. We forget about the overall. We just think about now. Mm-hmm. However we feel about now all the time, right? And when you look at the overall, since Potter's took over from Goalkeeper to now, right? We didn't lose a game all the way up till Brighton.
Mm-hmm. We should have lost.
Many people should have.
Wait a second. This was on the back of us at the bottom of a Champions League, coming from fourth and winning the group, and beating Milan twice in between that. So there was obviously some good form there, right? There was something, guys.
No, thanks to Kepa.
Oh, fucking hell.
Bro,
Kepa. Listen to Joe, what he's saying. Let Jim finish what he's saying. I know where you're coming from, Jim. Hey, Jim, I know where you're coming from with this, where you're saying about Potter with his one games for us in the Champions League.
We're making it sound like he's been like this since arrived. It's like he's been like this since he arrived. He's been crap. He's not been good enough. He's not done this. He's done that. It's so bad. It's the end of the world. He can't be at the end of the season. We ain't going to be able to do anything. But look, and I know it was bad. Yeah, I know it was bad the last couple of games. I agree with you. It's not good enough. I agree. But he's ultimately, from when he started, he had the same amount of wins and draws than Thomas Tuchel did when he first started, when he took over from Lampard. Same thing. AJ, go on.
Up until just look at the results, guys. Look at the results and look at the tactic. We keep saying, we can't play back four. We can't play back four. But most of our back four games we won. Most of our back four games, we got our positive results in. Now, I understand our last 3 games, we played Arsenal, City, and Newcastle. Those are 3 strong teams at the moment. Arsenal is in first place for a reason. City is City. And Newcastle, they've bought very smart, and they have a good manager, So What'd you say?
Better than Potter?
But there you go.
Listen, he
Risinho
might
hates
be better
Potter.
than Potter.
He
He
hates
might be
Potter.
better
He's
than
got a
Potter.
better track record.
He's a little bit more ahead in his progress as a manager than Potter. He's been in the Premier League for a minute. He's switched around teams. So you have to look at things individually. You can't just say, "Oh, it's Newcastle." It's not. It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that.
I agree, AJ. And looking at these scores, that doesn't paint that picture, because I'll tell you something, right? I got crucified on Lewis's stream when it was Wolves and after AC Milan, and I said, and because they were 3-0 games, yeah, I said I didn't like the way we played. We made mistakes and weren't punished for it. I got crucified. I hope I can go find that stream for her, right? I got ripped on. Me and Alex got ripped on too, because I started pointing out.
Facts.
Dan was there, remember?
I remember that, yes.
Yeah,
Declared,
this looks great.
Declared,
You're right,
before
but
you finish that, one second, before you continue that, Declared, because we're going to ask you one thing, right?
Yeah.
I agree. Look, I remember them games, and let me tell you something now. The one thing I always say on the stream, I don't enjoy watching Chelsea play. Even when we're winning, I don't enjoy watching us play, right? However, what was the difference between him winning 3-0 under Potter to what we're doing under Tuchel?
True. Same.
So,
No, it wasn't the way we played, Jim. It was the mistakes and
it's the same.
we weren't yes, because that AC Milan team was a weakened team. Wolves made so many mistakes and never punished on ours, right? I pick up on this a lot, right? Because then I say, even though we won 3-0, I didn't like it because I know we're going to get punished, and that's exactly what happened. We went into the games after this. If you go after Salzburg, the results go really bad, right? And that's what happened because we weren't playing a good brand. It's not that we're playing entertaining, Jeff. That's not what I mean. I'm saying we weren't playing well. In general,
no, but
there was.
Fine. What I'm saying is you're answering your own question with what you're saying. If you listen to what you're saying, because you're saying that you don't like the way we're playing.
I'm making a point.
Yeah.
No. It's not about how we look. If you're gonna do a tactic and how well you do it, not pleasing on the eye. That's the difference for me.
We've been like that for a while, Declared.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Declared.
But
I'll establish the difference in your question.
When does it come to the point when we look at the players and go, "Hang on, Lexi, why are we always doing the same shit?" It doesn't matter what manager we do. We seem to have the same.
Only time we had beautiful footballs when we had.
We did, and Jim, you're answering your question too, because under Tuchel, I saw a style of play, right? I saw what was trying to be done, and I saw, and you've made this point. You've said this phrase many times. Missing puzzle piece, right? Missing puzzle piece. All Tuchel needed was certain amount of players to get this system working. Even if it wasn't pleasing on the eye, it's whether it was effective or not. That's what I'm getting at.
But when he played Brighton, Declared, when he played Brighton, can't you remember when Potter came out? He did a bad thing because he put Mason Havertz and Conor Gallagher up front. He put half of the team out what was wrong in a wrong formation. He said it was his fault.
He's learning.
Yeah, he said it was his fault. Yeah.
Yes,
thank you.
Potter is learning on the job. I agree with you guys.
Yeah. But we are finding out that the team we've got, ain't really our first team football like with Brighton and the likes of Arsenal. Yeah, Rio made a good question about the Chelsea with Potter. Yeah, all right, but he came out after that Brighton game. He said, Potter, it was the most successful. He came out and said, yes, he did wrong. No other manager would have came out and said that in any Premier League.
I'll tell you what else he's been saying, Dan. He's been saying the boys gave it their all. It's been a great game on some of these really bad losses.
No, right? But he's trusting more Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's trusting more Ruben Loftus-Cheek on the pitch than any other players.
I'm not going to take his words and hold them like hope, like it's a gospel here. I see it on the pitch. I want to see something being played, right? And then say, well, maybe Potter just needs a midfielder like you guys brought up before, yeah. He needs this type of characteristics of a player, and then this tactic's going to start working. I don't care if it's not pleasing on the eye. I just want the manager to play right what he believes in, right, and get the players for that. And with Tuchel, that's what Tuchel did. It wasn't pleasing on the eye, but it was effective, and you saw the missing pieces. Everyone said all we needed was a striker, right? Remember after Champions League. Now all we needed was a midfielder.
It was incorrect though.
It was, but what I'm saying at that point in time, at that point in time, you saw what you saw on the pitch and you saw what was missing. After that, right? Once we got midfield injuries, once Reece James was out. We saw how much we relied on them, right? So we discovered more, and then after that we can say we needed more players. I want the same. I want to see, right, something happening, a style of play, because he's changing it up so much that we have no idea. No one can explain. No one explain how Potter wants to play.
No,
and what plays he needs.
Yeah, but Potter's came out what he needs. He's told to Bowley what he needs. He needs a right back. He needs a replacement for Reece James. He's come out and said that to Todd Bowley. He also told that he needs midfielders.
What did he just sign?
Also he's told Todd Bowley he needs false attacking forwards. That Pulisic and CX ain't getting games because he knows they're not good enough.
Are you guys not getting the
Bowley said, "I'm getting Ronaldo." That's what he said.
They're working on different.
Yeah, but he's a yes man, isn't he?
Guys,
but
I've listened to a lot of you. Just 1 minute. I think it has gotten to that point. We've been here for about 2 hours, and I think it has gotten to that point. But that I think all of us realize we are not going to change Declared's mind. Whether he's doing it for last and
change
whether
mind.
he believes it.
You can't change anyone else's mind.
Yes, that's what I said. It's like we can't. Whatever we tell you, and if we try bring a point to it, or we try shed a light to what we're doing, you're just very rigid. You're
no.
And I'm not saying like
you were not presenting any facts.
1 minute Declared. It's not a fight.
So many things.
It's never.
Yeah, I agree with what you said.
So 1 minute, I'm just saying you're very rigid in your points and your way of thinking, and that's when you can rebuttal. I'm not. We don't want to shout anymore. You can rebuttal. I swear you can rebuttal. You can rebuttal when I'm done. You can.
It's not about being rigid. You make it sound like I'm meant to be gullible on just anything you guys say.
No, that's
you said rigid. We didn't say
gullible. Taking my words and
I'm very open-minded, but if you don't make a point, right? How can I change my view?
No, it's more about Declared.
Go on, then I'll go after you. Go on then.
No, let her wait a sec. Let her go.
No, sorry.
Let her finish. Go on.
Just too many claims in your one.
That's what I said. Okay, let me keep quiet. Then you can go. Then I can
now you've got to listen.
I'm muting my mic. Go.
Let her listen. Let her talk. Go on.
Yeah.
Go on, Medic.
I'm saying the mic has been open for about an hour, and we've been, from what Declared has been saying, we've been trying to give the opposing view or something. Have we agreed with what some of the things you said? Yes. Do I like that Potter keeps chopping and changing? No, I don't. Do I think that he's probably trying to understand his team? I think yes. We keep on saying when Lampard was sacked, a lot of this fan base was not happy, even when you see it was going on a downward spiral. But how did Tuchel win our hearts? I think it was that CL run. But people also forget that he literally had no fans in the stadium, and you all don't understand how that was very important, of not having those Stamford Bridge faithfuls like being in there and being like, you're doing this wrong or something, and when things are not going right, it really does matter. I'm not overly enthused or not about Potter, but the thing is, we are all sitting, some of us are sitting here and trying to act as if outside influences has not played a part. I don't even think Potter has played with our best starting 11 ever since he's come here. 1, 2, 3 of those people have always been down injured. You can't also say that. It also says a lot about us as a team that when Reece is down, this team can't function. There is no way a defender is supposed to be that vital to our build-up or something. It says a lot also about the squad planning that Marina and Co left us. Really, a right back shouldn't be that vital to us winning games or something.
Yeah.
It's generational though. That's what you get.
Yeah, so look, guys, I am going to finish off in a bit because Lewis is going to go live as well. So I want to let him get on with his stream as well. But let me just say this one more thing before we go, right? And then you can jump over, because this is going to take you straight to Lewis. So once this closes, just stay here and it will revert you to Lewis's channel and he'll be going live. But
is it?
Yeah. My thing is,
you didn't tell me that, GM. You
I
should
think
tell
with
me
Potter
that.
is this straight up, right? This is it. I don't know whether he's going to be successful or not. What I don't like is people that assume things too early, because I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be successful like others. And the way I look at it is that I just feel that sometimes that time should just be given to managers that will come in. And I know at Chelsea we don't use that word too well because we've not done it in the past. But I feel that we are a different under this management and under this hierarchy. I feel that we are going to be led in a completely different way to the way the Roman was, and maybe even that's too early.
Data was different as well.
Yeah,
five managers.
That's too early. That may be even too early for you to call. But from what I've seen in the short term up to this point on how we've played things and what we're doing, we've already sorted out the hierarchy. We've put in the pieces of puzzles there, so it means that moving forward we're going to have a proper recruitment, in place for that. All right, we've brought in a ton of the youngsters to show us that we're looking at the long term, the new era, past the current crop of players. We have some of them. Some of them will still be here, obviously, a lot older, right? And on top of that, the only thing that we're waiting to see really now is how we approach Summers in the long run, right? How we approach that, but also what we do in the now and how we strengthen what we currently have. Because the one thing that is the real problem now and has been the same problem last year, some people may even say the year before, right, is that we signed players. We spent 200 million, and a lot of us felt that 200 million may have been well spent and it should have strengthened the squad. Ultimately, it didn't work out because we brought in managers that couldn't adapt these players to what it is that they wanted to do, right? And we ended up having a bunch of chalk and cheese players that found it very hard in the way I feel, to build up chemistry between them. And it's weird because they train a lot. They're in and out together. You'd expect some sort of real consistency. We only saw consistency under Thomas Tuchel. And the reason we saw that, and I'll tell you why it looked good, is because we bent over back for certain players to accommodate them. Yeah, we actually ended up suffering in other areas by playing the way that we did. And it was never going to stay consistent playing the way that we did because the forward line were fucking struggling. We were not benefiting anything from the forward line, really. Yeah, they played well in the Champions League and they did their bits. And I get that, but we were winning games 1-0. We weren't conceding goals. And the key out of that Thomas Tuchel part of what he did was that we was not conceding goals and how good our defence was, because our defence was very good. The way we were set up from the back was very good. We had Edouard Mendy in form. It all worked very well. The issue with it was, can it be consistent? And that was the one thing even back then that we weren't sure on. And it goes to show to this point now that we are still sitting here scratching our heads about these crop of players because we can't seem to get any system to fit what they, to fit the manager that we've got in to get the best out of them. So with Potter, all I would say at this point in time, if you like him or not, is that he deserves to be given the time, even if we are losing games shit at the moment. But we need to understand where this club is, and that's it. And we're not in the position to be challenging for top 2. We're not that. We're a team that is in transition. And Chelsea, the way in the chat, keeps saying about we shouldn't have progress and all this, that, and the other. We should just be top 4. That's it. Progression shouldn't be a thing. Transition shouldn't be a thing. It's bollocks. We're already in a transition without even people seeing it because we.
What was it? Do you reckon it was too soon? Do you reckon it was too soon for Potter coming at Chelsea Football Club?
Probably.
I didn't know what he said.
Was it too soon?
Do you reckon it was too soon that he came into the Chelsea Football Club?
Declared, what you said isn't. You might be right. It might come next summer. He's gone. It hasn't worked. We've progressed as a club, but he doesn't follow because he can't get the best out of what he's been given. Because let me tell you something now. This squad's going to get stronger. They will spend in areas. This team will get better. I think we will do that. I think the progression is to do that. You can see it clearly from the owners.
What happened if he stopped answering Todd Bowley's WhatsApp messages?
Then he goes.
He's out. If he doesn't like his dinner.
Guys, sorry, I've got to finish off because I know Lewis is going live. I want to go over there as well. I ain't going to be around for 10 days because I'm going to Dubai tomorrow. So letting you guys know that if I'm not here for the ball,
have a good Christmas. Have a good Christmas.
Not Forest reaction. It's just because I'm away for Christmas. That's all, for a little bit of a break. But I'm back for the January transfer window. All of them shows will be back. All of this, what we're doing now, Chelsea shows with the panels will be back, and we'll be doing 2-3 times a week shows again. So not once a week, 3 times a week we'll be back. Overloading Chelsea, Declared will be here, Nomadic, AJ, usual lot, Chelsea, Dan, all of you guys, we're going to be here going through that. But I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be safe.
You too, my bro, and you too, man. Have a good flight out. Have a good flight out in Dubai, man.
Cheers, mate. Do not have a heart
Yeah,
attack.
have a good Christmas, Dan, as well, my bro.
Thank you.
Yeah,
mate.
I do too, my bro.
Big up, Dan.
I'm doing a show. I'm doing a show tonight at 10 o'clock. So if you want to come on, kid, because you do talk facts about your football club, I know you don't live in the
Yeah, I'll
Premier League this
come.
season.
No
No
worries,
worries,
my bro.
Dan. No
God
worries.
bless.
No worries.
Land the
Guys,
minerals, man.
land the minerals. Guys, like I said, it's only a little short break. I'll be back. But like I said, big up. He's got a cup. Jesus, he's got a minerals cup. Anyway.
Mickey bought it for me for Christmas, Jen. Bought me for Christmas. He goes up the Chelsea FC and the minerals.
Listen, I'll be back soon. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be safe. Chelsea beat Bournemouth for Nottingham while I'm away. Hopefully, I can come back with some good points.
2 nice wins and we'll be up the table, guys.
Yeah, exactly. I will be doing maybe some like pre-record videos, like like to games and that. I might do that while I'm out there. But anyway, I'll talk to you in between that. But I'll be back at the beginning of Jan. So take care, guys. See you then. Enjoy the rest of yourselves and take care. See you later.